Oh, Jesus.
Oh my god. Is it working?
This sounds painful.
Oh no, it's good. It's good.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Cool.
Hello. Hello, and welcome back to the Breakdown Culture podcast. I'm Rob Smith, and as always, I am with Danny Diarra,
Hello.
Fisher,
Hey.
and Leask.
What up, yo?
And we are for the next 2 hours, say, hopefully, maybe.
Try.
It's going to be
If
a
you're
while.
lucky.
I mean, you know, it's been
I
a
totally splashed you there, sorry mate.
extended break.
Yeah, we are going to talk some rock and metal at you.
Yes, we are.
And I'm glad as well, because I've had such a horribly mainstream sort of last couple of weeks. I've heard nothing more. I know more about football and Love Island now than
And
I should ever do
and
in my life.
You've been to Wireless as well, so you're
Oh,
really
God,
mainstream.
don't talk about this.
Oh yeah. I want to hear about this.
It was an absolute disaster. I mean, I wasn't even there for the music. I was there delivering stuff, and it was a disaster.
Cool. So what we got coming up this week?
Yeah, as always, got
He
the
looks
news.
scarred.
Got the news on Let Live's former singer and his new band.
Mm-hmm.
Ozzfest and Knotfest lineup have been announced. Either Moody's return, we all seem to be talking about in that minute, and then some other little bits. Slayer and some stuff from Straight from the Path, which we'll talk about. New listens we've been listening to for the last 2 weeks: Stone Sour's new album, Sworn In, Alestorm's album, and the new single from Xcerts as well.
Yes. Got a lot of reviews.
Yeah. This week we're going to talk about incidents involving heckling the crowds on stage. This comes from an article I read about the Dickies at the Vans Walk Tour, which we'll get on to a bit later. Yeah, we got a game which was picked by hundreds of people.
All two of you.
Thank you very much. Well, not thank you very much, actually.
Yeah, I think I've been hearing about requesting this one for a while now.
Yeah.
So
Folk metal was interesting.
yeah.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
to
get
say
to
the
that.
least. Yeah, and we got an all killer from Leask.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, we'll talk about last week's All Killer
Yeah.
as well from Rob.
That's mine, yep.
Yeah.
So all that to come.
Yeah.
You lucky
Alright,
bastard.
let's talk about Jason Butler.
Right then,
and
let's.
The Fever.
So he has surprisingly announced his new band, which he didn't really announce it as a band. He was just doing some Instagram teasers again, that sort of thing. Called The Fever 333. He was sort of marketing it as almost like a sort of political campaign or something.
Okay.
I was a little bit curious. It wasn't very clear what it was. It just said some coordinates like for a location in America, and basically just said show up. It was outside this donut shop. I can't remember which state it was in. Yeah, and he just did a gig at the back of a lorry.
Holy
So yeah, what have you got a clip of this here, Robert?
No, I don't have a clip now.
Okay, cool. So this is interesting because this is, I believe, it's Jason from Let Live, Stephen, who was the bass player and guitarist from Chariot, and I can't remember what the drummer's from.
Night Verses.
That's the one, yeah. But yeah, we were talking about Let Live a few weeks ago about their departure and them splitting up, and this kind of almost confirms the kind of conflict of what their direction was going, because
Sure.
it was becoming a bit more mainstream, in a good way, not like completely sell-out commercial or anything. They were saying there was sort of a little bit of a sort of disagreement as to where
They're
it sounds.
They're
So
definitely at a crossroads, weren't they?
yeah. So this came out as a massive surprise. This was such a sort of punk setting, really, and what they did was just play a bunch of tunes which were aggressive as fuck and pretty hardcore, just showing Jason being just as mental as he always was in the last band. So,
Yeah.
did you all watch the clip at all? Or?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah, I
did.
did,
That was
actually.
crazy. That was a cool thing to do, though.
Yeah, what did you
Out
make
back
of
with
it?
Laurie.
Yeah, pretty
Uh,
DIY, low budget style. I like
Yeah,
it.
it looked nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited to see where it goes and what what comes of it, and it's quite surprising to see him do something so soon.
Yeah.
And also, again, surprising that they didn't do any farewell shows for Let Live. I mean, they
Yeah.
were such a unique, special band, as I've said. I think it's perhaps my impression is perhaps things weren't good in that camp at all.
Maybe things
so,
turned sour
yeah,
quite fast.
yeah, maybe.
And the fact that this has come out so quick
Yeah,
after the breakup of that band
yeah.
would possibly indicate he had something lined up already.
Yeah, but if anything, it seems like it's even more raw than what Let Live were becoming. So, you know, it reminds me of when Zach left Rage Against the Machine and was talking about wanting to do more political stuff. This was kind of marketed as an even more political project, and
Okay.
talking about we need to take action right now because of the state of America.
So it's yeah, okay, yeah, that's fair. So it seemed like the rest of the band of Let Live wanted to be a bit more commercial.
Yeah, well,
And-
this is
and-
like kind of making assumptions here, really, but it's how it looks as a fan from the outside, I think.
Yeah.
But either way, what there was a couple of, I think I saw like 2 tracks, and one of them had a sort of infusion of like 808 sort of heavy bass beats, like a hip hop track, with just like some stamping simplistic riffs and him screaming over it, which then just sped up into this punk riff, and I was like, oh, this is pretty fucking cool, to be fair.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what comes of it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was really
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's the Fever 333.
Yeah, look forward
We'll
to
keep an eye on it,
seeing
yeah.
what he does there. Cause, like you said before, we was wondering what he was going to do next, and we knew he was going to pop up somewhere, and
Yeah.
this is how he's popped up, which is good. Yeah, let's talk about the Ozzfest and Knotfest. Their lineup's been announced with Slipknot not performing at Knotfest. I'm not sure it's a massive issue.
I don't think so. I think it's fine.
I think the rest of
we've
the,
had
the lineup for it is strong enough to warrant.
Oh yeah.
yeah, and I mean, Stone Sour is still there.
Yeah. Is this the first
I
time
mean,
they combined the
even-
festivals? I want to say yes.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over the 2 days.
Black Sabbath and Ozzy don't always play Ozzfest.
No.
It's its own entity. It's just got its name attached to it.
Yeah.
and that's basically what Slipknot want to do. With
Yeah, that's
Knotfest.
what they don't necessarily have to perform. I'm sure they're still heavily involved in the production of
Yeah.
it, in the setting up
Yeah,
of it, in the
most
in
definitely.
the layout, in the what goes on, and I'm sure a lot of those bands are probably handpicked by the band.
Yeah, it's quite a good lineup.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's strong.
Ozzy Osbourne, Prophets of Rage, Deftones, Children of Bodom, Crater, Orange Goblin, Baroness, and that's about all I can read at the minute.
That's pretty fucking good, I can't lie.
Yeah. Children of Bodom, I read. I don't know if they're doing it on Ozzfest, but they're not going to play anything later
After
than
Hate Crew Death Roll.
Hey Crew Death Roll.
That's the tour they've recently been
Yeah.
doing. Isn't
Yeah.
it? Is
Yeah.
it 20 years down and down?
Yeah, that's it,
something like
yeah.
that?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realise it was that.
Yeah.
What they were doing.
Yeah, I mean they've like recently just done Europe and the UK. And yeah, nothing later than Hate Crew Death Roll.
What is it, their 3rd album? Hey Crew Death Roll?
Hate Crew? Oh, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Ah.
That's really going
Early.
to narrow the set down, though. You're only
Yeah,
gonna
but
have-
it'd be a really solid set as well, though.
Yeah, then the Knotfest lineup: Rob Zombie, Marilyn Manson, Stone Sour, 18 Visions, Testament. Yeah, seems good.
Awesome. Yeah.
Seems good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it for that. And so not playing is probably not a
I
massive
don't
issue.
think it's an issue. Nah.
Yeah, it'd get a bit tiresome if they played every year, I suppose, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Ivan Moody. We're going to talk about him again. Only quickly, I guess. He's vowed to return in August for the remaining of the European tour with In Flames and Mice and Men.
So that tour hasn't started yet, has it?
No, it's in
No.
December, the tour.
Okay,
But he
cool.
wants to return in August and then continue any other dates they've got from that point on.
Right.
He said that he is very committed to sorting himself out, basically. And he's just been very apologetic for the way things have been. He feels like he's let everybody down. It'll be interesting to see whether or not he can keep on track with it this time, because this is the second time.
Yeah.
But, you know, good luck to him.
Yeah, I sort of think that it's great if he's committed to it. Awesome, that's positive stuff to hear. But I mean, having seen this stuff go on for such a long time already, it seems like quite a quick return.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope he's getting the help that he needs. We bash it, and you know, after talking about it the last couple of weeks, I was thinking, oh god, I'm getting a bit sick of
Here we
all
go
of this,
again.
all
Yeah,
this
yeah,
stupid
yeah.
stuff. Almost like, you know, it's kind of embarrassing to watch. If I ended up like suggested videos just linked me to loads of crazy shit that he gets up to on stage, and you're like, oh, this is almost
Yeah.
like,
It's a bit cringy, isn't it?
yeah. it's just sort your shit out. I think professionalism at this point should come first. So hopefully that's where he comes back and fixes it.
I hope so. He's got
Yeah.
they've got a huge following, huge fan base. It would be nice to see him back to his best form.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen anything from Bad Wolves.
No, but they posted something online a couple of days ago actually.
I don't know.
Yeah, basically just saying that things have been so busy at the moment. What with him having to cover for Moody, and they've had things going on behind the scenes that they are still actively working on releasing some new music very soon. It's just been a bit more delayed.
Yeah, that was about a month or two ago, wasn't it? That you
Yeah.
were saying that their music was supposed to come out and it
Yeah.
didn't. So
Really
Yeah.
disappointed.
Leask is disappointed. Sort it out, guys.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear new stuff
Yeah,
from
pull your
them.
fucking fingers out, lads. Jesus.
Alright, quick couple of ones then. New Black Label Society, 2018. There you go.
I'm excited.
I'll
Anyone else
always,
excited?
I'll always give it a listen. I love Zach Wilde. He's up there. He's
Yeah.
one of my favourite guitarists. So that'd be cool.
Now, a little while ago we spoke about In Flames and they had a gin. Our main's got a new beer called Hallowed.
I'll try it.
Haven't they got one
Of
already?
course you're going to try it. It's beer.
They've got one already, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Trooper.
The Trooper, yeah.
Have you tried that?
It's really nice.
It's nice. Yeah,
really
yeah, Trooper
nice.
is nice, to be fair.
Is it an ale?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So hallowed, I'll give that a go.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bands branching out into alcohol now. I
Yeah.
mean, Darkest Hour. Have got
Oh,
a
really?
beer.
Really?
Fucking hell. It's just becoming a thing.
Yeah.
It is becoming a thing. I'm just
Either beer or clothing line.
gonna get drunk and listen to metal, drinking metal beer.
Just hope Darkest Hour don't name it anything related to the band name. Just have a really bad bleak time.
Yeah, that's it for them. Slayer. What have we got on Slayer?
Okay, yeah, Slayer. Kerry King has come out and said a new album is conceivable. This, I suppose, is a bit of a surprise. Slayer was supposed to call it a day.
They're always supposed to be calling it a day though,
Are
after
they?
every album.
Okay,
So that's our last
well,
album.
I guess, yeah, that's not really news, but I suppose they feel like they've got a good lineup now.
Yeah.
They've
Well,
got
after
strong-
your download review of them, like,
Yeah,
surely they
although
come up a high of that.
Repentless was Gary Holt, wasn't it? Or was that
No, I
Halloween?
don't think they let him write on that album.
I mean, Kerry and Dave Lombardo did all the writing, so
But I don't think they let Gary Holt write on that album.
okay.
They were just having him play.
I mean, if they could take that energy live and put that into an album, then fuck, that's going to be a good one, and they shouldn't be wanting to slow down anytime soon. And
No way.
That's really good news that a new Slayer album could be on the horizon. Followed up by hopefully a big tour.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I think I'm probably the least of a Slayer fan out of the four of us here, but there seems to be a consensus with a lot of the sort of legendary thrash metal bands from back in the day
Yeah.
that their better days are past them. You're not going to make a second Rain and Blood, and it's like the danger of tarnishing your legacy. But you know that was the case for Metallica for a long time.
Yeah.
And look what happened earlier. It was last year now, wasn't it? At the end of last year with Hardwired. Or what happened?
Yeah.
Well, they put out their widely acclaimed.
look at that smug little look on his face because he doesn't give a shit. Look at him.
Sorry.
Shit-eating grin.
I'm sure it's a very good album.
I don't think Slayer have ever like peaked massively or dipped massively. I kind of think Slayer have just retained
They've just
a sort of level.
Always been
And
there
if they
doing their
don't
thing.
stray from what they're doing and deviate too much, it's going to be pretty much the same thing. It's just a case of them being able to tour again and hit the road.
Right.
Which I'm all for, because after that download performance, I really, really want to see them in a indoor kind of full headline capacity. That'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's probably it on that story.
Cool.
Okay. A little bit on Frank Turner saving the Blink-182 show, kind of. Blink-182 cancelled on the day for one of the shows
I think this was yesterday, wasn't it? Or the day before?
day before. I'm going to say Bournemouth, but I can't really remember. Because I haven't got anything else.
This is in the UK.
Yeah. Yeah. So Blink-182 cancelled, and he done his best to get the biggest venue he could find, and offer it to people with Blink-182 tickets, so they weren't too let down.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I think he managed to get a 800 capacity venue called the Old Fire Station, and it came down to like, first come first served. Like people with Blink-182 tickets got it for free. Anyone after that had to pay, which is good on him. He did get a little bit of stick for it though, which I'll have to go back to that story.
You try and do something good.
He done his best. He done his best to carry on with this show.
Yeah.
And he just got quite a lot of stick on Twitter for it. So
why? Do we know? What he said it was?
I think it was the first come first serve thing, because people are travelling down. Like, there's no way they're going to get there for this time, and so
Are they getting their money back for the tickets though?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Well, they'll probably be rescheduling it, won't they? I imagine.
I don't know.
Right. Well,
Don't know.
you'll
That's what I'd have
imagine.
to look at.
I've seen the Blink-182 shows. The one tonight is still going on because I
Yeah.
saw my friend was selling tickets on Facebook. So usually in this case, you'd be with the headline band is the biggest deal. That's what they're concerned about. So for the support act to be doing this, that's anything plus is a bonus, really. Isn't it?
Exactly.
So,
yeah, that's what I mean. Like you try and do something cool and positive and say, well, you haven't completely lost out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we can't please everybody.
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
but
I think
we try and do
one of
something
his
decent.
one of his last tweets was balls to Twitter. I put this show on, have a good time, something like that, something along those lines.
Fair play, really.
Yeah,
I mean, even 800 people that night, or whatever the number is, getting to see some live music is better than zero.
It was both support bands in a smaller venue.
Yeah.
Doing a solo show.
Yeah, it wasn't the full band. It was just
Yeah.
Frank, and then obviously the other support band just doing an acoustic show as well. So
I've never heard
obviously
of
from
anything.
an arena day or whatever, that's much less of a big deal. But I know that Frank does respond to people on Twitter quite a lot. So he's not above that. He's quite a down to earth bloke. So perhaps someone said something and he responded to it and it got a little bit out of hand. I don't know. I think that's what we were talking about this morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seeing that someone was
there's
disgruntled.
there's another story that happened in the show which I haven't had time to look up, but yeah, it was good on it. I've not heard of that being done before. The sport band going.
No, I hadn't. When I saw Blink, probably about 5 years ago, they had All American Rejects. I don't think I would have gone personally, but it's like, what percentage of that crowd were really there for Frank Turner anyway? It's like a handful. Would be there just for them.
Maybe. But yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, good on him anyway. Alright. We're going to Stray from the Path.
Yes.
And their new song called
Good Night.
Good Night. Oh, right, there we go. Yeah.
Now,
this is a story that we're going to lead into our new listens because, they've got a new track out and there's a story that's come out of it.
Yeah.
So we all checked out the song, all really enjoyed it straight away. It's that heavy Rage Against the Machine on fucking steroid sound that they've got going for them.
Yeah.
With a second half that is just even more brutal. With just blunt as fuck lyrics, Nazi punks fuck off, basically. And I heard it and straight away thought that, alright, this is about that Richard Spencer bloke. And if you saw when the inauguration happened last year with Donald Trump getting involved, there was a lot of this, inverted commas, alternative right, the hard sort of extreme style of politics. This Richard Spencer guy was like the head of this organisation, and he was out there showing his support for Trump and everything, and he got punched during a protest. And I feel like just listening to the song alone, that it was almost referencing that bloke, because it's talking about, if you spread hate, then expect hate and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then ironically, well, before we get into the story, what did you all think of the song then?
I fucking loved it. Really enjoyed it. I had it on repeat.
Yeah.
That was one of
I
those.
didn't really care much for the lyrics, but yeah, it was a good song.
Yeah, I find it hard not to pay attention to the lyrics with them because they've become, they've always been a political band, but I think that's one of their...
Are they this generation's Rage?
I wouldn't go as far as to say that, no. I mean, they're a small band, they're not really,
for sure.
But I think they're massively inspired by them.
I don't think they'll ever achieve anything like Rage Against the Machine did, but
I've never particularly enjoyed them.
Straight from Path. So what did you make of the track?
I listened to it once. It wasn't awful. It's just not for me. Right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it was what it was.
Yeah.
I can see why you enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna sit and tear it apart.
Yeah. I love that whole Muty scratchy riff.
Yeah.
Like that really, that rage inspired.
It's groove based, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the second half's just really circle pit music, like punk, fucking, in your face.
Well,
Really
so what's happened is Infowars. If you're not aware of this website,
This was ridiculous.
I don't know too much about that website,
Well,
the company, or who it's run, but I know that it involves that crazy Alex Jones.
It's Alex
bloke.
Jones.
Yeah.
Which is weird because Infowars isn't supposed to be a left or right wing thing. It's supposed to be an anti-globalist website, which is massively conspiracy based.
Right.
It's not meant to be for or against any left or right wing politics. It's supposed to be a social commentary on the entire spectrum.
Yeah.
He's not, but he has gone on record a lot of saying he's very pro-Trump. He's been quite vocal.
What, Alex Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's had Trump on the show and stuff like that. So
well, if you've ever seen much of his stuff, I did see a story about Alex Jones being a character that he plays, because some of the stuff that he speaks about is just so ridiculous. Yeah. It's almost like he's portraying these crazy extremist conspiracy theorists that
to discredit
that genuinely believe that we've got lizard shapeshifters controlling the world, that sort of stuff. Anyway,
controlling the flat, hollow Earth.
Yeah, that sort of bullshit.
he thinks the world is run by interdimensional child molesters.
Yeah.
All that kind of crazy stuff. But yeah, what happened with Infowars and Straight from the Past?
So, there was an article about them and about this song, basically just saying, look at this liberal lefties complaining about the state of the country, release protest song, crying in their basement, these little, all of the stereotypical shit, calling them snowflakes or whatever. And and if you go and watch the video on YouTube, it's...
He kept calling them social justice warriors, didn't he?
Yeah. So, I don't sympathise with either side, because it's like the song itself is pointing out the extremism of the right's argument, and that, like I said, that line, if you preach hate then expect hate. But if you want to get technical about it, these people aren't Nazis. Nazis are actually a thing of the past, really. It's a word that's being used. The word Nazi is being used a little bit too loosely at the moment, I think. If I disagree with your opinion, I'm going to call you a Nazi. That's like... And it is a bit stupid, so I can see that argument. But if you go and look at the YouTube comments and the dislike bar, it's been completely boycotted by people that have seen this article, basically crying about the song, saying that it's like whiny bullshit behaviour. But
okay. I mean, the term Nazi punks fuck off, that's a term, in going back to the dead Kennedys, it's been bandied around since like the 70s and stuff. I mean, they're going to be playing with fire, resurrecting that. They're going to get a lot of shit in this day and age.
Yeah, and everything's taken seriously.
But
it's almost kind of... I know the band is serious, but it's almost tongue-in-cheek. You know, you don't need to take... Music is art. It's an art form. Yeah. It's not like, let's take every word this guy's saying completely seriously.
Yeah. But there is context to that Nazi punks fuck off thing. Nazi punks were a real thing. I don't know if they are now.
Right.
But like the whole skinhead movement, the whole racist...
Oh, it's still definitely...
I mean, of course it is still a thing. I mean, we witnessed it ourselves...
That was...
Only back in February.
Yeah.
You know, the skinheads that we saw out at a gig.
They were terrible.
They were terrible, terrible people.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe it's legitimised.
Yeah.
To a point. But it's calling out extremism. But, yeah, that lyric, preach hate, what is it? Preach hate and
if you preach hate, then expect hate.
They kind of have proved that. with the backlash, right?
Yeah, it pretty much proved their point.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think the song's great, and I agree with what they're saying, and it's funny because even though they're getting all of this bad press from these people, it's like, what does it... If to get a movement behind you to go and dislike your YouTube video, in the grand scheme of your career, it's like, it's still publicity, and it's huge publicity for them.
Sure.
So, you know, talking about if this generation is Rage Against the Machine... Maybe they could be eventually.
Oh yeah, I mean not right now. Are they at that level? I
No,
think.
but I mean,
but Rage Against the Machine had to be playing clubs at one stage.
yeah.
And probably never thought they'd get as huge as they did.
This is the kind of
But-
bullshit backlash that they were getting back in their prime
Yeah,
though as well.
yeah, yeah.
You know, just on a different scale. This wasn't the internet age back
Yes,
then. So
yes, exactly.
The comment section is ridiculous on that though. It just seems like spam.
It's mad.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous.
There is a lot of Nazi love on there. But, again, that just seems like spam for the hell of it.
Yeah. Nazi love.
That's- yeah. Yeah. Good song.
So yeah, that's quite. So should we move into our new listeners then?
Yes.
Since we're here.
Yeah. So we listened to the Stone Sour album, Hydrograd, Sworn-In's album, All Smiles, and Alestorm's album, No Grave But the Sea.
Yar.
Yeah.
Where do we want to start? Which one should we start?
Let's go.
with?
Let's do
Let's
it
go
in
Stone
order.
Sour.
Let's go in order.
Yeah,
shall
let's
we?
go Stone Sour. Oh yeah, so I listen to Stone Sour. I've always said Stone Sour's albums are always solid.
Yeah.
And they are like solid rock albums, and like this Hydrograd is possibly a gateway to heavier stuff. I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super groovy, and with like a slight southern feel to it, and like almost new metal in places as well on most of the tracks. I feel.
How do you feel about it in comparison to their older albums?
I like this better.
So do I.
I do.
I think
Cool.
it's better
Me
than
too.
House of Golden Bones
Yeah, I
Parts
do,
1
yeah.
and 2.
I don't know about that. Except that one. I don't think
Which one? Parts 1 or 2?
part one.
Part 1.
I think that's just genius, and I don't think
Yeah.
think they've topped it with this.
See, I think they have. I mean, this is. I really liked
It
Audio
is-
Secrecy.
Yeah, that's
Um,
good. The Come Wherever May is probably the
Yeah.
better one. I feel is
That's
their best
that's their
one.
go-to one
Yeah.
for a lot of
But then, like you said, all of their albums are really solid, and I don't think this is any different.
No.
You know what you get with Stone Sour.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna have a certain kind of sound to it, but this is just.
It feels
This is
it feels fresh.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it does.
it feels like a
really-
good rock album. We're not talking like Nickelback rock. That's not a rock album. This is a rock album for everyone that likes rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a bit of everything in there. It's really catchy. I think the choruses are fantastic.
I think his vocal performance is fucking flawless.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much it's him. Like we said ages ago, would you like them as much if it wasn't Corey Taylor? But
Sure.
he has a very distinct, recognisable voice. I think.
He's definitely the focal point
Yeah.
of the band.
I
It's
actually think if
still
they had a
very good
different
band.
vocalist, I mean, I'm not saying I can think of anyone that could replace him in the band, but I think if they had a different vocalist, I still think the album would be just as good.
Yeah.
Shall we go into some tracks then? What have we got? Anything
Yeah.
specific?
Right. Shall we talk about the ballad?
The ballad.
Right. So
Oh,
yeah,
what the
that's-
country?
That's
song.
one.
Yeah.
What was it called?
St Mary.
Yeah, Saint Mary. That was
Yeah,
it.
Saint
It's
Marie,
one
sorry.
of the points I did want to make about the album was that it would almost it's almost an all killer for me. Apart from that one track.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, there's not a track. No, there's not. A
There's
track
there's,
I'll skip.
there's another ballady one that isn't
It's not so
so good either.
country.
But luckily after that it really picks it back up with Mercy. Well,
Was
I'll do
that-
right now?
is that
How about
Mercy?
that?
How's that for timing?
Yeah.
Yeah, second half of the album is fucking heavy.
Yeah. Whiplash Pants.
Yeah, I really
heaviest-
enjoyed that song. Yeah.
Heaviest track on the album.
Yeah.
Was everyone else picking up the quite blatant Metallica vibes
What
Yeah.
of that song?
Yeah.
of
No.
the whole album?
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah,
think
there
so.
was
Yeah.
one in particular on the track. Thank God it's over.
Yeah.
We've prepared a couple of samples here.
I do have a bit for you.
Okay, cool.
Just,
As soon as
Just-
I heard it, I was just like,
yeah, just
You
see,
wanna-
see what you
Yeah,
think
go
of
on.
it.
Spineless from the start, sucked into the pot. Circus comes to town. You play the lead percent. We take what we can get. It doesn't matter if it hurts or get back down.
Right, right, fair play to you. Yeah.
As soon as I heard that riff, I was like, Left Messiah.
Yeah,
That's Left
straight
Messiah.
away.
Right away.
Mate,
Like,
nice spot. I haven't heard
As
that in a
soon
while.
as I heard it, I was just like, fuck.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, wearing your influences on your sleeve there, or what? But
yeah.
I can't discredit this album for that, though. I'm
No.
going to let them get away with it because it's such a
Yeah.
fucking good album. But,
Yeah.
it's weird. Metal Hammer last month have plastered Corey Taylor all over the front here, and you go on to read the album review, and they've given it a 6, which seems bizarre.
It does.
And all the review was is a huge comparison to House of Golden Bones. I'm not saying it didn't reach those heights, which I agree with to a point. But also go on to point out how this is a very confused and almost schizophrenic album, where the band are in two minds about what direction they want to go in. Which I don't know. I feel like it's a good blend of everything.
Yeah.
That's
But
definitely
there's
true, but whether you think that's a good or a bad thing depends on how consistent you want it to be, I think. For me, as the first track, Tapai Person, or
Taipei Person.
Taipei Person, yeah.
LRT.
It was like this whole call and response thing that was going on with the vocals, which was kind of, it's very cliche metal, but I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's like the way it drives into like this 4/4 beat at the end, I really enjoy.
It's a cool little breakdown chug.
Yeah.
4/4 section. There,
You mentioned Saint Marie. That reminded me of like Counting Crows, like a real country vibe. And it's funny to make this comparison, but the recent Death Havana record has got a song called St. Paul, where I think when James does these like sort of country-ish inspired folky sort of songs, I just feel like it was like a slightly naff version of that. Like it's done, and it is odd on a metal album, but you know it's not alien. If you remember when
Mama Said. On Load or the
or like you think about like Dear God on Avenged Sevenfold's title.
I actually really liked
Yeah.
Saint Marie. I thought it was a really good song, but I like the ballady stuff that Stone Sour do. I think that's why I like Audio Secrecy so much, because it's not a particularly heavy album, that one.
Yeah. I have to say the song 3, which when we discussed the two singles when they first came out, Fabulous and song 3, I wasn't too keen on it, but having been to downloads and they kept playing that with a Corey Taylor advert. I don't know if you remember.
Hi, Corey Taylor here.
I actually think it follows a really cliche chord progression, but it's a really catchy, well written song.
It's my favourite track on the album.
Probably, I think it probably is, or it should be a hit. Personally, I think it's a really well written like rock song. And I think like these songs for me, in terms of where I put next to, we just mentioned Five Finger. I think that this sits in that realm. You know, Stone Sour and Five Finger Death Punch together, those two bands and their sound, I think fits that niche. Not niche, that mainstream.
So it's more like
it's like
accessible,
gateway kind of music.
But the main negative I had was I think that. I said this about Metallica as well when they put their album out. They need to self-edit a bit more. I think if this was, you mentioned it maybe being an all-killer, but I think if this was, they could have shaved 4 or 5 songs off it, and I would have really enjoyed it. But I think 15 of this, I mean, it's good music, and it's cool, but for me, it's just these huge anthemic rock songs. But it's just like, I don't need to hear like 70 minutes of it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I think a shorter. Like condensed version of that would be fine for me.
Punchier and more. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Cool. Out of 10?
Metal Hammer gave it a 6.
Right.
So, I mean, if you use that as a base,
I'd give it a 7. Personally.
Yeah, I would have went 7, 8.
I think I would have gone an 8.
Yeah.
I'm going 8.
8.
Yeah, I'm going an 8. Lose the ballad, probably an 8.
The breakdown culture cues. Stone Sour, an 8.
Right, so
that's official.
We're doing the scores now, are we?
Yeah.
All right,
Why
fair
not?
enough.
Yeah.
All right,
That's the
there you
thing we're doing now.
Yeah.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah. Should we call it something? You know,
I'll do it on the night.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes.
We'll think of something.
We'll figure something.
Oh, I also want to mention that the title track, Hydrograd, is probably my favourite song as well.
Okay.
There's like these eerie guitars throughout it. which I noticed at the end, he like blends his vocal melody into that line.
He likes
And
to do that.
there's also a vocal line which I saw Leask tweet out, which
I've
is
got it as my Twitter bio.
there you go. Yeah,
What is it?
I'm not better than you. I'm just better.
Aha.
I really liked that. Like I
It
don't know.
just stood out
Yeah.
so much.
What was your interpretation of that line?
I don't know. I had to think about it, and like you've got, on the one hand, it could just be really smug, basically.
Suits you down to the ground. doesn't it?
Pretty much.
Well, he's had the lyric "I'm probably wrong, but I'm better than you" on a Slipknot track. I can't remember.
I can't remember which track, but I know the
Before
line.
I forget, I don't know. Well,
Right. Another
off
interpretation
subliminal
of it,
verses.
Yeah.
is like he's had so many issues.
Yeah.
Like he's saying I'm not saying I'm better than you. I'm just better
Like
myself.
gotten better.
Yeah, I'm better at being.
That's
me
how I
than
read it
was.
as well. I just took it as it's basically a self-empowerment line, just like I'm doing better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really really cool. Anyway,
So humble almost.
Yeah.
Not
it's
arrogant.
just self-assured, really, isn't
yeah.
it? All right, shall I move on to Sworn In?
Sworn In.
Their album is called All Smiles.
I fucking love this.
It wasn't.
It
for
didn't
me.
give me all.
No,
smiles.
it's fine. I like this a lot better than the Stone Sour's album.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Okay.
loved it.
On paper, I feel like I should, but
Yeah, I was surprised you didn't.
Okay, right. You start us off then.
Okay.
All Smiles.
All smiles, yeah. I got hyped for this when I read something from Metal Sucks, and I'm always a bit iffy with Metal Sucks because I don't know if they actually like rock and metal or
Well, no,
what,
it
or what
sucks.
they're doing. Yeah, exactly. They described it as what you get if Marilyn Manson and a post-hardcore band have an orgy, don't clean up, and let all the bodily fluids fester into a musical abomination with long hair and stupid beanies.
Yeah, that's
And
pretty fucking accurate.
I
to be
went
fair.
to myself, I want some of that.
Yeah. Dingy bastard.
Yeah,
I worry about
I
that.
really liked it.
Yeah.
I would have said it's more like if King 810 and Still Remains had a big fight to the death, and they recorded the screams from King 810 scalping every single member of Still Remains.
I think that's probably more accurate.
I like these analogies. I've got a good one coming
Well,
up on the next
if Metal
record,
Sucks
so-
is going to do that, then
Right,
I'm doing that.
yeah.
But it's such a dark and harrowing like album. It's so
It was
it's
harrowing.
So,
It was fucking brutal.
yeah. Outstanding tracks for me was like Make It Hurt, All Smiles at the title track, Mirror Fear, and Puppeteer.
So I can't even quite put my finger on what I didn't like about
I'm
it.
the same, but I don't want to go out there and say it was too heavy because I just sound like a fucking idiot.
Well, it was fucking heavy.
I just-
it was heavy. I
I
just-
liked it. I liked
it
every
wasn't-
second of it.
It wasn't a bad album. There was just something that didn't hold my
I'll tell you what
interest.
it
I
was.
was just
It
like,
was harsh.
Yeah.
It was so fucking
I
harsh
think that's,
on my
I think
ears.
that's
that
what
it
I
was
liked
just
about
like,
the
fuck, like that was.
that's what I liked
It's
about
a
the
lot.
18 Visions album. Because that again, that is like
Very
every
hard
single
hitting.
track
Yeah,
is
yeah.
like in your face. But yeah, this
Yeah.
I really like
it
this.
was that was an obnoxious album though.
Yeah.
It was that heavy. It was
Yeah.
I think it's the same reason I'm not so into King 810. It's just that.
The thing I like about King 810 is the like these almost spoken word bits.
Okay. Yeah.
They're a very diverse band, King 810. I mean, they've got. If you listen to the last album they did, there is a track on there called Me and Maxine, which is just like it's a really bluesy song, isn't it?
Hasn't got a saxophone solo in it.
I think there is a saxophone in there.
Is there any saxophones on this?
No, I don't think so.
I'm going to come back to saxophones in a minute at the end of this album review section, because we did all go to a gig at the weekend, but we'll come back to that shortly. So getting back to the album, Make It Hurt. I really enjoyed Make It Hurt. Actually, there's a line which sums up the album perfectly, where he screams, "I'm fucked in the head, that much I'll admit." And I've got it's almost like it's very much like tormented, isn't it? Like you listen to it and it's like
Yes.
it's like either this guy is genuinely or this band are genuinely like fucking like just shedding all of their pain,
Yeah,
or
this
it's like
is-
really pretentious. I can't decide
This
whether
is
it's
what
genuine or not.
I'll put here. It's
Yeah.
almost like an emo-y sort of cult
Yeah.
image they got going.
Yeah.
And which makes them really ominous to me.
The image.
And
Right.
like, really intriguing. Like, why are they writing such dark stuff?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I like about it.
There's Don't Look at Me. There's like these eerie synths throughout it. It's very demented, and it's kind of all of these like double vocal layers. You know, you've got like a high pitched scream and a low one together, and it sounds like really demonic. I love all that sort of stuff. But there's a song called "Hell You Put Me Through," a long word. I think where this falls off massively for me is like on paper it says, right, okay, this is a new metal record, but it's also like a fucking heavy as balls metallic hardcore record. But the singing, just really didn't. Not even like this whole whiny singing that you get in like metalcore. It's just not that good. Like that's what I just felt. The singing on it really ruined it. Like it just kind of just made my skin crawl a little bit. I don't know. I need to go back to put my finger on what it is about it, but yeah, it just seems very much like singing for the sake of trying to make it melodic. I think if they were to just stick to being heavy as fuck, I'd probably enjoy it a lot more. In fact, there's a song I had on our playlist a few weeks back off their album 13, which is their first album, which is I much prefer than this.
Okay. I've not heard that yet. This is
Yeah.
the first one I've heard. So
Yeah, I'll send it to you later on. But yeah, for me, I'll give it a 6.
8.5, possibly 9.
We can't go half, surely.
Going halves?
Yeah.
6.5.
No, we're not going half.
Right.
6.
9.
9.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, generous Rob
Yeah,
Smith.
that's me. 9 breakdown.
5.
5. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to be really
I just
generous and say 4, just because
Wow.
honestly, there's nothing memorable there for me. I'll go back and
That,
I'll listen
I
to
would
it
agree with that.
again,
I don't think
but
it is that memorable. I think it's good and enjoyable, but it didn't stick with me. Like,
Actually,
so-
4's a bit too harsh.
Yeah.
I will go 5.
Fair.
Because 4 is me going, yeah, what are you doing?
4's like reserved for the Nickelback side of things.
Yeah.
I think.
4 and below is reserved for Nickelback.
Reserved for Nickelback releases only.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Free
If you get less than a 4, then you really need to take a long hard look at yourself.
Well,
Chest.
well, there we go. I fucking loved it. You
Cool.
all didn't like it.
Not all Smile Smokes then.
Shall we go on to something that we all really, really, really liked?
Oh, shall we? Yeah!
Alestorm and No Grave But the Sea.
Okay.
Why?
right.
Just
Um,
why?
Why?
Just fucking why? I don't want to listen to this ever again.
I couldn't help but smile at this.
I
Oh,
was all smiles for this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I liked it. Opening track's just a fucking anthem for me. It's that catchy.
An anthem.
It is. It's an absolutely. Well, it's an
Can
absolute.
we set the scene just for listeners to know what this record is?
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So it's
Right, think
What
Pirates
rails?
of the Caribbean, but
Across-
just as camp.
Yeah.
With double bass.
Yeah, but with double bass.
and an accordion.
Yeah, and an accordion. When did accordions
Just,
become
it's
metal?
just
I
about
just
pirate's life.
it is. It is about the pirate's
It is.
life.
Are they a
And
joke?
aside from this
Are they a
album,
joke
it is a
band?
pirate's life
Sorry.
for me.
They
Sorry, Liz, to interrupt.
they
It's
Are they a joke band?
they don't take themselves too seriously.
How can they take themselves seriously?
Like
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
folk
Yeah.
are
Okay. Right.
whipped up.
Because I think there's potential in there for them to be a really fucking decent. There are glimpses anyway. But
Well, the
I don't think they'll
opening
ever
to
tread
the song Alestorm is really heavy.
Yeah. I don't think they'll ever go down that route.
Alright.
But anyway, opening track. I thought. Yeah, you're kicking off with something half decent here. Got a really catchy melodic hook. Danny's looking at me like,
Sorry, I didn't.
Don't want to die.
what the fuck are you talking about, Fisher?
Go on, Karen. You're right,
No, I enjoyed it. It goes pretty much downhill there for me, apart from the odd glimpses I've mentioned. Yeah, wasn't feeling it so much overall.
Yeah,
But there are glimpses
Yeah,
in there,
yeah.
like I said.
it's good.
where
It's
they-
catchy. It's quirky.
Yeah.
And I can imagine it going down a treat at download.
Well, apparently it did. Apparently so much so it was.
I was given a 4 in Mel.
Well, apparently half the crowd for 6th were Alestorm instead. Which
Oh shit.
So-
okay.
that just disgusted me
That
personally.
does blow my mind. a bit.
Yeah.
Nothing about Alestorm blows my mind. I'm not gonna lie.
Go on, Leask, go on. Let it out.
I didn't hate it as much as you clearly did.
We listened to this over a game of chess.
Yeah,
basically,
there
didn't we?
were elements of it that I was actually like, yeah, okay, that is surprising for this band. I said the opening to Alestorm, it sounded like something Trivium would write.
Yeah.
It did have some really heavy moments in it where I'm sure there's a breakdown somewhere where we sat there and looked at each other and were like, what the fuck is going on here?
Really fucking heavy.
But then you have got tracks like Fuck With An Anchor.
No.
Oh,
Fuck you,
man.
fuck you with an anchor. Or fuck with an
We're
anchor.
gonna punch you right in the balls.
Yeah, fuck that song.
Now, you'd never
you
heard
got-
this album before,
That
but
could
you
die.
were whistling along to tracks off of this album without ever having heard it.
Yeah.
Because it was
Because
so predictable.
You know exactly where that melody's going. Like that second bit to da 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 da
Yeah.
follows on with da 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 da. Like
that-
it's
but
just
that's-
so obvious where
Right.
it's going. It's like
This is like pirate metal, folk metal kind of go sort of hand in hand in a way. Like
yeah.
it's that whole sort of like you know exactly where the melody's going.
And there's an accordion.
Like the predictability of it. Okay, fair enough. There are catchy moments where you're like, okay, they can write a cool guitar line and a catchy chorus, but right. Can you think of someone that thinks that they're fucking hilarious, but is just not funny at all?
Don't you point at me. Fuck you.
All right, okay. Let me. You know when someone there's a group of you and someone makes a funny joke in their head, and then
Yeah.
only half the table hear the joke. It's like, did you hear that? And then they sort of repeat their own funny joke,
Yeah.
and everyone just sort of goes,
Yeah.
It's like that, but over and over and over again. Like that is what this album is to me. It's like it's. I'm sorry to be a Scrooge, but it's not funny.
It's
like,
the unfunny friend that no one's got the heart to go, look, it's run its course now, mate.
yeah, absolutely. Like
Just shut up.
all right, what can we get? All right, anchors. All right, nautical sailing the seven seas and finding some rum, and it's just.
Yeah,
It is
it's
all.
true.
It is all of these things that was like. I think I heard one of their songs like a good 8 years ago, and I was like, "This is pretty hilarious." And then now, there probably is a place for this. I could hear the odd song and find it like kind of amusing, but a whole album of it of the same shitty joke over and over and over again. It's like. All right, let's get into the music then. So, like, I'm just sort of slating the concept essentially, but that first track was kind of catchy. I'll give it that, all right. But then this fucking 8-bit came in and into Mexico.
What was that?
Into-
Oh, there we go.
It's
Something Mexico.
No, I hated that. I fucking hated that song.
Just.
Where does it go after that?
Do you remember Mr. Strudwick from Springwood?
Yeah.
So our old music teacher at Springwood, his name was Mr. Strudwick. He's a fucking legend. You're not listening, but if you are, you're a legend. He made the mistake of telling our class when we were younger that he hates the Final Countdown by Europe. Is it Europe?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
we used to
despise
just
that
every
song.
time he arrived to his class, we would just blare it through the fucking speakers as he walked in. That whole like fanfare element
Yes.
of this band just fucks me off so much. I just find it so irritating. Yeah, and I feel like I'm being really miserable, but like they can write a catchy tune, but is it just because it's the genre that they're playing? Like, I fair enough you say there's some heavy bits that remind you of Trivium or whatever, but
Yeah,
loads of bands do that shit.
Mhm.
Like, I think this is.
I think it stands out more on an album like this though because
You're not expecting it, essentially.
yeah, like these other bands are trying to seriously write music,
Yeah.
and these are a pirate metal band.
They've
Yeah.
just got. We're just going to drop some fucking sick riffs here and there.
Yeah.
I want to hear more of that from them.
I'll
If you
go,
want to hear more of that, don't listen to Alestorm.
I'll go elsewhere, personally. I really.
I'll listen to In Waves, I suppose.
Now, my main question about this: did we all listen to the deluxe version of the album?
Yeah. So, to explain what that is,
Yeah,
it's.
what was the deluxe version all about?
Yeah.
Basically, the deluxe version is after the album ends, the album starts again with exactly the same tracks, except the vocals have been taken out and replaced by
What have they been replaced with?
dog barking.
A dog barking.
That's it. It's been replaced by a dog.
Computerised.
dog
Yeah, a
bark.
computerized dog's
God.
bark in place of vocals, and it's the whole album again with this computerized dog vocal.
Why?
How-
Just why?
I don't know.
How
Why?
pissed would you be if you went new Alestorm album? Oh, the deluxe version is extra £5.
Yeah, you're paying
and it's just
£5.
dogs.
No,
Now, I
don't
can only
discredit them. They
assume-
actually got a dog in the studio. And they trained it to actually do these vocal takes. Didn't you hear about that? I would rather hear the dog version than I would the original.
is that
I'm
if-
not even joking you.
So if you've got a dog, and they're like,
If your dog's a pirate,
yeah,
there we go.
And then your dog's sitting
hopping
there just
around
like,
on-
yeah, do you know, I need me some rum.
You know what?
Yeah.
hopping around like a
The
peg
pirate
leg.
life is for me.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna pay the extra £5 so my dog can enjoy Alestorm too.
Said no one.
Just get really
Said no one ever. Exactly. Why?
I can
Why have you
only
done
assume
this?
that genuine Alestorm fans, if there is such a thing, I'm assuming they're like Bigfoot at this point. Like you've heard about them, but no one's actually seen one.
Yeah.
I can only assume that these mythical creatures actually know what they're getting on a deluxe version of an Alestorm
I mean, have they done
album.
this in previous albums?
I don't know or
Is
care at
this
this
a running
point.
thing? Because it's fucking ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure their entire fan base are out at sea. If they're not, they should be. They're fucking fucked with an anchor and then drowned by the anchor as well.
In the sea.
Can we hear this? Did you have a sample?
Yes,
Yeah.
unfortunately I do.
Alright.
Just for listeners,
Yeah.
if you're
Is it the
wondering
dog
what
version?
if you're wondering what the fuck we're on about, here you go.
Yeah. And it's that all the way through the Deluxe edition.
I find it quite offensive.
I find it more enjoyable than his actual voice, if I'm honest. It's just it needs to die. Also, this isn't actually entirely original because do you remember me referencing Run the Jewels, who played Glastonbury and talking about that they'd go down and storm it down, the hip hop group.
Yeah.
They their albums are just called Run the Jewels 1, 2, and 3 at this point. But their second one, which was Blinding, they released a deluxe version called Meow the Jewels, and it was the same album, all replaced with all of the hip hop bars with meows.
Why? I just
So,
It does seem strange.
but I feel like the actual instrumentals were kind of replaced with cat sound effects as well. So it's even more of a like, you know, crazy old cat lady.
I didn't
fest.
appreciate it on this album. I'm not going to go back and listen to other albums that have done something similar because I won't appreciate it then either. If I wanted to listen to animals make music, I don't know. I wouldn't even know where I'd go because it's not a thing.
Facebook.
It's not a thing.
Facebook.
It's like when you get things like Britain's Got Talent and a fucking dancing dog won it, right? No one wants to see a dancing dog, but the fact that it beat actual human beings
Yeah.
in a talent contest
Do you know what?
is incredible.
I feel like this album is for X Factor viewers, Britain's Got Talent viewers,
Cunts.
Little
It's
Brit,
for cunts.
Little Britain viewers that find the same shitty jokes each week hilarious. That like basic as
Oh,
fuck,
just-
boring, like
I want that one.
yeah.
Go
that.
fuck yourself.
How many albums they got?
Too many.
Yeah. Right then.
Oh, well,
anyway,
there you
so
go.
what are we rating it then?
4. This is why I upgraded the last one to a 5. I didn't want to put it on the
It's
same
better
level.
than Nickelback, isn't it?
Alright, I'll give Nickelback a 3, and then this can be 4.
Doesn't really work like that, mate.
No,
You can't go back on the rules already.
no, this is true. Nickelback are a 4.
What
This was a 4.
Are the rules? What are the rules?
I'm gonna give it a 6. Just because they are probably the best that folk music has to offer.
They're the
Wow.
They're the pioneers.
Not folk music. This is pirate metal.
It's the same.
Come on,
sort
Rob
of
Smith.
thing.
It's completely different.
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
You're going to
It's the same
anger
thing.
a lot of people.
Yeah.
Really?
Music
after
snobs here.
After you three just slated it.
I did tell them to go fuck themselves.
Exactly. I think you called them cunts too.
And describe them as mythical beings.
So,
I'll give it a solid 5.
a solid 5, really.
I'm gonna give it a light to decent 2.
Ooh,
Wow.
shit.
Wow.
Cool.
I'm really sorry. I'm not being dramatic. I just do not enjoy it at all.
That's fair.
That's fine.
And I listened to it more than once as well. All right,
That's
then.
brave.
Yeah.
Let's get on to the Xcerts then. So
Yes.
they have a new single out that I believe just me and you have heard, Rob.
Yeah.
Called Feels Like Falling in Love.
Yeah.
This is... I'll talk about them in a bit, but this is the first time we've heard them, I believe.
Yes,
so
it
what do
is,
you make
yeah.
of it?
Yeah, it was really good. I did go back to listen to their older stuff actually.
Yeah?
'Cause I think heard that song on Radio 1. I think it was Benny P. Carter's.
What's Scatterbrain? Or this song?
This song. Yeah.
Okay, right.
It was Benny P. Carter's rockiest record.
Mm.
Yeah, it was good then. Their older stuff sounds like an old pop punk band called Homegrown.
Right, yeah.
Remember them from the P-Rock days?
Yep. P-Rock.
Yeah.
Oh, P-Rock. That was pre-Scuzz, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
P-Rock. Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of them. Yeah, enjoyed it. Good.
They are, I just realised I'm wearing their t-shirt. Fanboy. Yeah, they are fucking brilliant. They're only a 3-piece band. But this song, well, they've always been a pop-rooted band with a footing in the heavier... If you're wondering how this relates to, metal, excuse me, their first record was much more of a grungier album, pretty gritty, and they were very young when they brought it out, and their last album was definitely a more of a crossover into the pop realm, but with like a huge guitar tone and like massive choruses, but really well written. And this feels even more that way. I mean, it's like layered with like synths over the choruses, but it's that 3-chord progression that I really enjoy about this song, because it's just really basic and easy to get into, and I think this should easily be on Radio 1 daytime play. If you can have Royal Blood and other things like that, that's a bit more into this realm of like heavy guitars. I don't see why the Xcerts can't do that, but they are still quite a small band. And also the there's not a guitar solo, but there's like the lead bits towards the end like really stand out, being quite strong. So I believe they've got an album coming out, and I'll be looking forward to it because they've done nothing wrong in my book so far. So yeah,
I enjoyed their older stuff as well. So
cool.
Good. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was on Danny Picard show. Unless
Yeah.
I made that up. But yeah, I'm sure it was.
Cool.
Yeah, it's good.
Hot toilet.
Okay,
Nice.
so
Nice.
Yeah.
Right,
So what, is that it for the new listeners?
yeah, that is it for the new listeners.
Well, look, we probably shouldn't
we won't start with that.
start
We'll
the
just
topic.
talk
now.
shit for a little while, shall we?
So
Yeah.
he did want to say something. I think about Festival 2.
Oh
yeah.
We saw Busted at the weekend.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like
Didn't think I'd ever be saying that.
we saw Busted, live music reviews and all that. We did that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Live
yeah.
music.
I was busted because I didn't go.
No, you didn't go. You missed out, mate.
I was pissed when they were on. I didn't hate them.
Right.
I didn't hate them.
They were loud.
Yeah.
They
were loud.
played music. They
I think it was more the atmosphere and the vibe. Like we were just having a good time.
yeah.
crowd
we,
looked massive. Like,
we did have a
it
really
was
good time.
absolutely
To be
packed.
fair.
It was fucking huge. The crowd. I mean, people still pay good money to go and see Busted.
They're not
so-
the worst sounding band that I've seen live.
No.
Well, considering it was out of the back of a truck
I know. It's in a car park.
in a car park in Kings Lynn.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what I can say. I mean, I was also a bit pissed.
I wasn't. To be fair, I wasn't paying that much attention to them.
No,
We were
it
just
was
having-
just background music. We were having a laugh.
Yeah,
and,
it was.
Yeah.
I said that they didn't sound awful. That like they actually played really well from what I could pick up on.
Yeah.
People were really enjoying them.
We're just talking about Busted.
Oh, okay, cool. Before we go into our
yeah,
topic.
yeah,
Right.
Just to fill in before we start the topic.
Yeah.
Wait, what did you think?
I think you should ask my girlfriend. I think she had the best time of her life.
Oh really?
She's absolutely loving it.
Is she a big fangirl?
Yeah, she is.
Oh, okay.
I thought they sounded pretty tight, if I'm honest.
Yeah, well, that's what we
it
were
was
just
a
saying.
garage build,
They're
yeah.
not the worst sounding band
Yeah.
we've ever seen. And
I actually quite enjoyed their new tunes as well.
it's quite surprising.
What they played some new stuff.
They did.
Did
you,
they?
Really?
Did you not notice the difference between like the Miss Mackenzie like?
Honestly,
like,
I
I
couldn't
year
tell
three-
that
yeah,
this
so
was
I know.
really of it, mate.
I recognise the older ones.
Well, the new
just-
songs are like synth pop sort of 80s style, so that's explaining why you didn't enjoy it, Leask. But there was a saxophone player, and me and my brother were saying it was reminded me of like the 1975 and their last record. Like, it's actually got a lot of groove to it. I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
And also, like, just as a reference to what we're doing here with like rock and metal, it's one little moment, but they were playing like Crash the Wedding or something else, that one of their like hits. But Charlie let out this massive metal scream in the middle of it.
Did he?
Yeah, like
How
it was.
pissed were we?
It was just like completely out of nowhere, but it must have been like at the end of the song. It was like, and it was almost, to me, it was kind of just like maybe like my romanticized idea of these little things. But I was like, oh, is that his way of saying, don't worry guys, there'll be another Fight Star album eventually? Like, I'm still gonna come back to that world. Because that last Fight Star album was fucking incredible.
Really?
Like, yeah, really good.
I didn't hear it.
Yeah, and we saw
didn't
them.
waste my time with it, to be honest.
Yeah, well, Fight Star.
Yeah.
Well, we saw them just before. Well, God, last year sometime.
They had some big support slots at one point. Fight Star, but they got.
But their last album was, I think, I was talking about it at the time, Leask, but I think you'll really actually enjoy it. And then it was like they'd finished that tour, and he was saying, "Yeah, this is where I'm at." And then he gets back from tour and announces he's coming back to Busted. So we're just like, well, I wonder what that paycheck looks like then.
They got paid quite a lot for this show, didn't they?
Yeah. So we hear.
25 grand.
Yeah.
Not bad for what they pay, like 9 tracks.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
a
played
short,
very long, did
it
they?
was a short set.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Your sense of time was somewhat blurred.
Yeah, it was a good night, wasn't it?
I just remember
it was a
I
laugh.
spent at least 2 tracks going, I've run out of beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just like metaling up all of the lyrics. Like, me and my brother were just like screaming all of the words. Like, whilst my girlfriend was genuinely screaming it out of love, we was just like, "That's what I do. That's good." I got told off by some woman for screaming, "Get your fucking eyebrows out."
Wow, yeah.
Very mature of me.
What a gig. Hey, what a gig.
It'll go down as one of the greats, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Probably. A great night.
Future download headlines, I reckon.
Moving on.
Anyway.
Alright, yeah, let's go on to our main topic, shall we?
What we discuss in
Well, we are going to discuss heckling and on-stage incidents with bands and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, this comes off of an article I read about the Dickies
yeah.
and what the front man was saying to someone in the crowd. I've got a clip of it. I saw the clip before I read the article, which was probably the wrong thing to do.
Should we explain? So, apparently he has a whole, not speech, but like part of his sort of, I guess, the set is he jokes with the crowd about wanting to like kiss them all or go down on them or whatever, like as a bit of a joke. And then some crowd member, part of like some, I guess, what's the movement called? I can't remember the name of it.
Feminism.
The feminism movement? No, it was like, it was
safe scene. I don't know.
safe space or something like that. Yeah, to do with like gig going and kind of feeling safe and all of that sort of stuff.
Right.
There's probably some legitimacy to that and a reason for it, but they push forward this sign that says, I can't remember what it says, but it's basically.
I've got it.
You put it there?
Yeah, it says our teenage girls don't need to be subjected to derogatory jokes by a disgusting old man. Punk isn't predatory.
Right. Yeah, that was it.
And then
Bit of an essay to put on a sign, isn't it? Really?
then
Like-
How big was this fucking sign?
That's what I'm thinking.
12 men to hold it up.
12 men.
Hey,
this.
hey, were they men?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sorry for assuming their gender.
Yeah, there we go.
this sign was later thrown at him, apparently.
Right.
which spurred
So you've sort
this-
of antagonised the guy, really, and then this is what happens.
this then spurred this.
Kiss it! Kiss it! Kiss it, you bitch! I have fucked farm animals that were prettier than you, you fucking hog! Are you ready, everybody? Blow me! 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 How does it feel? How does it feel to get shouted away, you cunt? C-U-N-T! Can you spell? You're a fat cunt! Fuck you! Stan, show her what we're about.
I haven't heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah, his face. His
It's
reaction.
fucking awful,
That's
isn't it?
fucking-
I mean,
that's
there's
fucking vile.
there's shouting down someone that's giving you shit while you're performing, and there is just being full on abusive.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's-
that's verbal abuse.
verbal,
That
yeah.
you could be arrested for
See,
that.
I listened. I heard that clip before I read anything. I was like, "What the fuck has this person done?"
What's provoked him to say
Yeah.
this? Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, and
completely-
it was this. Apparently, it was a member of the touring crew of the Vans Walk Tour that had provoked him with this sign.
Okay.
And then there's people from other bands like Eagles of Death Metal and Noodles from.
Well, they're
The
defending
Offspring.
him, right?
Yeah,
They're
the Offspring,
defending
yeah.
him. I've
You
got-
can't. I'm sorry, you can't defend that.
I've
You
got a-
can't.
I've got a few quotes here, which
it
kind
doesn't
of
matter the context.
yeah.
Like I don't think.
I sort of, I don't know. I disagree because I think without any of us being there to see, there's always, like we said with the whole Phil Anselmo racism discussion about like the extra level of antagonising that was going on that you're not aware of. It's like unless you're at a gig to see all of the variables that are affecting that vibe, then you don't know what's going to provoke them. However, I do agree that his response there is pretty lazy, amateurish, and different people react on the spot
it's
differently.
very
Like,
unprofessional.
Yeah.
I've fucked
Regardless of,
farmyard animals.
Yeah.
that are looking.
I think regardless of like the context or anything, that is just.
it's harsh.
It's not just that. It's an out and out attack on somebody.
Yeah.
It's just.
See, and then the other side of this, the guy who's defending him is putting it to the Dickies punk image and their gimmick,
Yeah.
Right.
which
okay.
is the opposite of what we have just said.
What they can get away with it because
Yeah.
they're just a blasé.
Who's the
do
singer
what they want,
from
say
Eagles
what they
Death Metal's
want.
Name?
Oh,
Haynes?
I've forgotten his name.
Yeah, anyway, he said, this is a quote from his Instagram. Long live freedom of speech and long live the notion that rock and roll is about saying whatever the fuck you want, especially if it's offensive to people who are weak, cowardly, and don't stand for anyone else to be free. Now, what do you think of that?
I'm playing devil's advocate here a little bit, right? I don't think that statement is defending him calling this fan a cunt. I think that statement is referring to the Dickies and their whole ethic of being a punk band that are rebellious, that has this whole gimmick on stage or whatever. I mean, Leonard the singer responded and basically said like, lighten up, excuse me, I'm going to go listen to the Ramones, have you ever heard of them? Like, and that's kind of, again, that's like quite a patronising, stupid response. Like, I feel like this guy doesn't really know how to handle these situations. And I don't know, like, if you ever watched like comedians getting heckled, the way that they're quite trained in this because they expect it, but a lot of musicians aren't. And
Sure. Yeah.
like it's funny because you kind of expect that at like stand-up shows, but there's a guy that I talk about a lot, Bill Burr, that he did a stand-up show in Philadelphia. It sounds like I'm going well off topic, but he was getting heckled in Philadelphia because no one was enjoying the set, and he turned around and did exactly what this guy did, but he just went so over the top with it. He just used every outrageous insult he could think of. That it just almost became part of the set.
Sure.
Like, do you remember how we talked about Lethal Bizzle? How it was whole like he was putting his middle fingers back up to the crowd and swearing at them, and he sort of won them over that way. But this is a situation where it's just gone completely wrong and just made this guy look like a bellend.
Absolutely.
So-
I mean, it just comes across as him being.
It's
an
nasty,
abusive fuck.
and it's like he's a bully almost. There.
Yeah.
Because he's the one with the power.
Yeah.
He's got the mic. He's trying to get the entire crowd almost to turn on her by shouting "Blow me, blow me, blow me," like it's.
Which is completely childish and ridiculous. Like,
They've got a lot of power on that stage.
yeah.
Like he could have just ignored that
Yeah.
and just ripped into the next song.
Yeah.
Or done the comedy thing and just responded with a quick witty, bitey comment.
Which I've seen happen quite a lot before, to be fair.
But to draw it out like that
Yeah.
and get the crowd participation and do the whole
And
farm
calling this
thing
person a fat cunt.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
It's actually it's difficult because being like and this is, I'm not trying to like big myself up or any of like my mates that play gigs and stuff, but being both a fan of music that goes to gigs and sees. Do you remember when I talked about that Lower Than Atlantis incident in Lincoln a few weeks back, where this girl was kind of like provoking the security guard?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
The security guard
yeah.
dragged her out, and the band. All they saw was the end of it. You're not really seeing the full situation
sure.
unfold.
Yeah. Well, you don't know if there's a big backstory that. Like, who is this girl? She's supposed to be someone on the touring crew.
Fair.
Okay, yeah, all guy.
Yeah.
But they're part of the touring crew.
Part of the tour.
And they were in the crowd.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you put it like that, I suppose there could be this whole backstory. I mean, what were they on the walk? It was the walk tour.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a 3-week, even longer, maybe month and a half touring festival, where these guys are bumping into each other every day. So there could be all sorts of.
Yeah, they got kicked off the tour for this, didn't they?
They did get kicked off the tour. Yeah.
There could be a whole backstory that's been going on backstage, and it only just come to light publicly.
Yeah.
When it's all boiled over.
I still don't think anybody deserves to be spoken to.
I
know,
agree.
That's coming from me.
No,
I'm not advocating that. I think my opinion on this, I'm sort of going into other situations, but my opinion on this specific story is that they, from what I've read, they didn't need to go up there antagonising the guy holding up some signs saying a whole bunch of like complaining about it, and he shouldn't have reacted the way he did. Neither of those two things should have happened.
Yeah.
She did
No,
the
I
wrong
agree
thing
with that.
by antagonising him, and he definitely didn't handle it in the most professional way and made himself look like a twat.
No, I mean, if she's part
So-
of this movement, then what she does and what she promotes is that should be good enough. Like, people know what it is, what they're there to do. You know, you don't go out of your way to antagonise the situation.
Yeah, but
like I
what
said,
she-
what he did was, I said that you could be arrested for that.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I do have a quote from Noodles from The Offspring. It says, "It takes some guts or idiocy to demand a safe place where nobody really or expects one to be, even though it's a really pretty safe goddamn place to begin with." I'm guessing he's talking about the whole tour being a
He's
safe
talking
place.
about, I think, the whole punk and metal scene, where we've spoken about gig etiquette and stuff in the past, where we all probably have never felt overly threatened at a gig.
I agree with that.
I think this is something more
Friendly
specific.
community.
This is the safe space is supposed to be. I don't know if you talked about it a couple months back, but this whole movement about going to gigs and there being a certain area dedicated to people that want to be away from all of the kind of carnage of mosh pits and things like that.
Right,
like
yeah,
a
right.
literal thing.
Yeah,
like
it's,
a
it's,
literal
a, it's,
safe
it's an
space.
organisation that promotes a safe environment for everyone at a place where there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was this new. You know how we've spoken about safe space in terms of
Yeah.
not offending anyone, being
Oh, right, yeah,
in an environment where you can't say what you want out of fear of offending someone, like a safe space, as in it's not a physical thing.
Yeah.
It's a spoken thing where
Yeah,
I
know what
need
you
my
mean,
say
yeah.
so. Like, there's that whole movement going on right now where like the far left are being really outspoken about saying you can't say this, you can't say that because you might offend someone. It's that whole political correctness thing.
Yeah.
But it's going like massively far now. That's what I assumed.
Yeah.
This
You
was
get
about
people
it's like an
because-
actual space.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realise.
Which a lot of musicians, I think, Sean from Whilst You Sleep spoke out on it, basically saying, no, this is family. You come to a show, if you don't want to be involved, you know where to go. This is what you learn from gig etiquette that we've already spoken about.
Yeah.
You know, this is like, we all respect each other. We don't need to have these new physical rules put in where you can't, you know, if anyone just decides to, oh my God forbid, crowd surf, they get smacked down by a security guard, you know, that sort of.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just going to turn into like the polite etiquette of what you have in Japan, where people are just very polite and sit down and then clap at the end of the song and don't really do stuff. So
Yeah.
I mean,
In
it's
certain
being
areas.
said, you've also got things like, I'm sure we've all read somewhere like before, there've been girls that have been quite outspoken about how they don't feel safe to crowd surf and things like that at gigs because like fear of getting
touched up.
and
Yeah.
We've actually got Paris playing at the moment, and I know Lynn Gunn spoke out on this quite a bit. I think there's even at Norwich when she played there, something happened where a girl got groped and she stopped the concert and that sort of thing. And then Frank Carter spoke about it when I saw him at Norwich, and he did a speech at Glastonbury as well, basically saying like, I've got a little daughter now, and she's being brought up around this environment. You know, I don't want to raise her in a world where she doesn't feel comfortable to crowd surf.
Yeah.
For the fear of getting touched up and that. So this whole misogynistic thing going on, and you know, like you've just said, Fisher, with the far left being like almost too cautious, and then the other hand side that are just saying, oh, you're all a bunch of pussies, man.
Yeah, you're a bunch of snowflakes. And stuff.
And it's like,
But what's the Dickies standpoint? Like, are they a misogynistic kind of band? This is why I thought it was a safe space thing that we're talking about not offending people.
Yeah.
Because if they're preaching values about, and that's why I came up with the feminism thing.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was an actual movement about not offending other people and you know, promoting the rights of people.
Yeah.
I didn't actually realise.
Just gender equality at gigs. And
Yeah, all that kind of thing, which is why I'm sort of asking, I suppose, what they sing about as a band, what their lyrical
I don't know a
content
great
is.
deal about the Dickies. All I know is that they're.
I'll be honest, I hadn't even heard of them until.
No,
I heard them when I was younger. They're an old band. When I was like really
indie
punk
band.
Yeah, they've got some. They're quite well known. They're quite iconic in the punk scene. But going back to this specific story of like, okay, taking it by face value that he has a whole speech about going down on his fans as he jokes about it. Well, how come Adam D from Killswitch can get up on stage and say, I wanna finger all of your daughters, all this kind of stuff, and everyone laughs. Like, what's the difference? Is it because he's doing a silly voice? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if we're going on that basis, then
all of your vaginas.
if I'm gonna start going to Killswitch shows and seeing people protesting Adam D, who wears a fucking cape and runs around asking for like a barbecue mosh pit as he does, or whatever the hell that means, like. Jesus, I don't want to live in that kind of life.
I think for me, with this whole thing, it's like Adam D is clearly just dicking about, and but it's not specifically aimed at anybody.
But this is the Dickies. They are dicking about.
Yeah, you're talking about the attack on this.
Yeah,
person.
but like with this whole thing, he has singled out an individual.
Yeah.
And just fucking gone to town.
This is what this safer scenes were saying. Like, what should have happened is one, the sound people could have cut his mic.
Yeah.
And two, the security should have looked for the target of the mob. Which.
I mean,
I'm all for dicking about on stage.
Yeah.
And as you all know, I've got a fairly dark sense of humour. But, like you said, I would hate to live in a world where you couldn't go and see the sort of shit that Adam D does.
Yeah. You've got Attila on the same tour as well that are just saying, like, just screaming, like, suck my fuck and, like, I'm going to fuck your bitch. Like, all of these obviously joking lyrics.
Yeah.
And they've got all of the teen girls there enjoying it, knowing that it's just tongue-in-cheek. But I guess because this is a band they're not as, acquainted with, it's different. And I talked about Andy Black from Black Veil Brides during this. There's so many videos of him on Warped Tour calling out people saying, alright, you want to throw abuse at us, get your ass on stage. And he, like, this whole thing about humiliating people in a gig, like, because you're on a stage and you've got the power, it's so easy to get everyone to turn on one person and make them feel like a twat.
Yeah.
Like, I saw a video of what's the singer from Disturbed's name? I can't remember.
David Draymond.
Yeah, there's a girl sat on the balcony, like the front row, at like, I don't know, somewhere like Brixton Academy or something like that, where you can easily, or like Rock City, you can see the front row.
Yeah.
And he calls this girl out. Bless you. He calls this girl out and says, "You've been on your phone the whole gig. You've been filming the whole gig. You've been texting. Like, are you bored? How can we improve? What's wrong with you? Are you okay?" And he starts humiliating this girl. And then she's there going, like, you can see her trying to, like, argue her piece back, but she can't.
She doesn't have a mic.
Because everyone's screaming over her, and then everyone starts booing her, and then she just says fuck it and just leaves. And I sort of feel sorry for situations like that, because it's like, she probably wasn't on her phone the whole time, but when you like, don't tell me the singer's been staring at her the whole way through the gig.
Perhaps like on the breaks of the songs,
Yeah.
when there's no music going on, maybe she is updating pictures.
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah.
But to him, it looks like she
Yeah.
sat through 90 minutes of Disturbed
Yeah.
on her phone. Like, but Yeah, it does come. It comes back to etiquette again, doesn't it? Where it's like raising that debate.
I think some bands can be just as guilty as fans of this. Like I saw, there's so many of these stories. Like when going to hip hop, like Drake and Meek Mill had this big beef, like in 2015. It was like a big part of hip hop narrative. Like the culture around that summer was all about these two rappers going at each other with like diss tracks and stuff. And someone went to a Meek Mill concert holding up a sign saying like Drake owned you or something like that. Like at the front row of this gig. And he stops the song and just says, "This isn't the fucking internet, this is real life. Like get the fuck out of here or one of my goons is gonna come and get you," sort of thing. Like you're dealing with gangsters here. Like it's a bit different than the Dickies, but like
yeah.
I just think don't be an idiot, don't go to shows and disrespect. You paid money to go see them. Like
and paying that money to a show I mean, ultimately the question here is, does it give you the right to call bands out, protest them, whatever?
I just think don't see them.
I think one of the most effective ways I've seen of a band dealing with hate they were getting from people was when me and Rob Smith were stood at the front of the main stage at Download in 2007 and we were there all day and we had to stand through Aiden. They had the shit bottled out of them. They really did.
The whole entire set.
And they didn't say a fucking word about it. Didn't kick off. Didn't get arsey about it until the very end when he stood there. He went, "For all of these people that have stood here and bottled us, I'm glad you've hated us because this is time you're not getting back in your lives.
This is 30 minutes of your life you are not getting back."
And then they just walked off. And I stood there, I was like, "Fuck you!"
So well put though.
It just couldn't have been handled any fucking
Just kept
better.
their heads down, got on with it, and had the last laugh.
Yeah, I mean,
Fair.
like,
That's just about being self-aware, isn't it? You know, they probably expected to get that.
That's a good way of handling it. My experience of this was Stone Sour on the Come With Me tour.
Really?
With Flyleaf.
did Forever Never play as well?
Forever Never, yeah, as well, yeah. Flyleaf just finished. Well, no, Stone Sour was playing, and Corey Taylor said, like, big up to Forever Never and Flyleaf, and someone at the front booed.
Right.
And Corey Taylor went, "What?" And he said, "Did you boo? Did you just boo?" And said, "Right, if this person doesn't leave the front now, we're not coming back on." Dropped the mic, everyone left stage, and then this guy like slowly walked his way back up, and then they came back out.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, there was something similar with Guns N' Roses, where I think they just started to play Sweet Child of Mine, and Axl Rose saw a guy in the crowd just being a dick, and he stopped the song. And Axl Rose isn't exactly known for being the nicest guy in the world, but he stopped the song and basically gave this guy a bollock and was like, "You are ruining this for everybody else here. Like, everyone else has worked hard to be able to pay for these tickets, and you've probably got your parents to pay for it for you. You're just ruining it for everyone." He was like, "Once security take him out, we'll start the song again." So he got escorted out. He was like, "Right, now we can all enjoy ourselves." And
Well, that's a different way of handling it compared to like, because he used to like kick off a lot, didn't he? I saw a video of Axl Rose literally diving headfirst in the crowd with somebody, like literally just running it, like almost like it's a swimming pool, like
Wow.
just launching at this guy. I don't know what it was about, but
do you remember Download 2006 where they were getting bottled, and then the guy that was playing bass for them at the time stopped the song because like a bottle of piss had nearly hit him, and he stopped the song, went up to the mic, he said, "If we get any more bottles thrown at us, we're just gonna go home."
I remember.
That's
I
asking for trouble.
can't remember.
It's like, "You whingy little bitch,
Yeah.
just fucking take it."
That's
Too far though.
That
Bottles
set
of
was
piss.
just a fucking shambles.
It probably
Yeah.
wasn't a bottle of piss though. I mean,
Yeah.
That
I
set
mean-
was a shambles though.
you don't even really get that anymore. You don't get bottles thrown at people anymore.
Yeah.
But there wasn't even a lot of bottles flying their way.
I didn't
But-
see one this year.
No.
Well,
Right, for
maybe.
him to just stop the song and be like, "Any more bottles and we're going home." Just
How precious.
yeah.
I really feel conflicted on this, like, 'cause
It's probably
done by-
not a pleasant experience. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. When you're performing, you don't want.
No, you
Bottles
must
thrown at
you
you.
probably can't fucking concentrate on what you can't fully lose yourself in the moment.
You're spending more time deflecting stuff being thrown at you.
Or you're just spending more time with your head up
Yeah.
looking at the fucking
Danny
crowd.
Phil managed it quite well. He caught an apple, lectured someone for actually bringing an apple to download.
Danny Phil.
Yeah, and then told people to stop trying to throw stuff at the GIMP because if they wanted to have an impact, they might as well throw stuff at him.
I think, like, just going quickly back to the old stand-up comedian thing. I saw a clip of just comparing this to the Dickies instance where he's calling the fan a cunt. I saw a video of Russell Brand on the recent tour, the Messiah Complex or whatever.
Yeah.
And you don't see the build-up to it because obviously someone pulled out their phone, but you shouldn't at a stand-up show anyway because they banned phones altogether.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, because they're filming for a live DVD.
Yeah, but I think for this one it wasn't. And this all you see at the beginning of the video is this guy going, "You're a racist," and to Russell Brand, who's the most liberal person you could ever like, you know, in that industry. And he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Put the lights on. Let's see what we're looking at here." And then he starts off and he's just like, you know, and just literally like lectures him about like, you know, how the fuck he was the winning sperm or something like really like really patronising like that. And then he like turns it around and starts talking about like very elegantly putting, because he's very good with his words, isn't he?
He's got good vocabulary.
Yeah, he basically just starts saying this is the wrong time to start spewing that sort of accusation around in the times that we live in right now. And just I don't know how he does it, but in the space of a minute, he's gone from this guy thinking that something that he was joking about is him being a racist, to him going, "Now say sorry," and the guy in the crowd goes, "Sorry, love you," and he's like, "Love you too, lights back down, let's carry on." And it's like you see the difference in that, how to deal with it compared to like a frontman in the band just going, "You're a cunt."
You can kill them with kindness as well.
What about when Fisher here was heckling Cannibal
I've
Corpse?
had my own incident. yeah.
It was hilarious.
This
funny.
was Norwich UEA. Cannibal Corpse were supporting Children at Bottom. I fucking hate Cannibal Corpse.
We gathered.
I hated them before that show. I hated them during them. I hated them during the show, and I still hate them now. What was it? It was the last song. It was the last song, or just before the last song they were going to play, and he was like, and I'm sure some of the members of the crowd are going to be a lot happier than others to hear this, but this is going to be our last song. And then like the fucking did the house lights go up?
Yeah.
And then pointed our way.
Pointed our way and said, and some of you for down there, if you want to have this out, I'll be over at the merch stand. And this guy's fucking huge.
Did he say he was going to kick our
Kick
teeth
your
in?
fucking
And I'll
teeth
kick
in.
your fucking teeth in. That's
Like, oh, okay.
that's one way to shut people up. It certainly shut me up, and I looked very sheepish.
What had you said that made them know that you weren't enjoying it?
I feel sticking fingers
Just
up.
stick in the middle.
Yeah, every
fingers up.
time the lights went up, Fisher's in there, it's like, you're shit.
Was you one of many, or was it?
No, it was Fisher.
Yeah, I'm not proud of it. I was what? I was like
This
what,
is early.
18.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, not
Fair
cool.
play.
Not cool. Not proud of it.
He
I
was
wouldn't.
more of a knobhead than he is now.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that now.
No.
But
Not after his warning.
yeah, that shut me up.
As we said the
I
other
don't
week,
wanna-
though, I think that the whole, you know, aggression at gigs and throwing bottles and that sort of stuff for bands that aren't well accepted has kind of died down quite a lot. A lot of stuff is more accepted.
We're a lot. I think people in
More
general
grown up
are
than
just a
that
lot
now.
more tolerant now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just immature, I guess. Like that was it. But like
Mistakes were made.
Yeah.
Lessons were learned.
Can we think of any others? Actually, we had the Iron Maiden thing.
Oh
That
yeah.
was fair.
Yeah, you only told
Sharon
me about that earlier.
Sharon Osbourne
That's crazy.
single-handedly managed to get Iron Maiden egged.
I remember this.
You remember, yeah?
Sensitive Ozzfest, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I can't remember what the incident itself was, but
it was something to do with contracts, and Iron Maiden, I think, were demanding more money about headlining the run of Ozzfest. Business. It was the business side of things. Sharon comes out, I think, calls them out for being greedy, fucking a greedy band, and
hands out eggs.
hands out eggs and sort
What do you
of
expect to happen?
promotes a bit of abuse towards them. And
Well, she comes out before they start their set
Yeah.
and speaks to everybody.
yeah, she addresses the crowd.
No way.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I forgot about it until I did some research on this topic, and I was like, oh fuck yeah, I forgot about the
I
whole
didn't know that.
Iron Maiden got egged. So yeah, they walk out and
It's a whole shitload of eggs thrown at 'em.
Yeah.
all
So they
thanks-
carry on their set fine, or what happened?
I can't remember to be
I can't
perfectly
remember.
honest with you.
I-
I've completely forgot about it.
I
Until
I've seen some Bruce
earlier.
Dickinson rants over the years, and he seems to be quite good at that sort of handling
Yeah.
that sort of stuff.
an incident at Download in 2007 when they headlined.
Really?
happened. Yeah, there was heckler in the crowd.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, something happened there, definitely. But yeah, I think the support for them was pretty good the day after Trivium came out. Like all three of them wearing Iron Maiden t-shirts and stuff. Like, I think people took Maiden's side over Sharon Osbourne.
That was a bit of a cuntish thing to do.
Very cuntish. Yeah.
Sharon!
Oh no, that was it. It was to do with Black Sabbath and Maiden. I think Maiden were kicking off that they should have been headlining over Ozzy, and there was this big dispute about
Right.
who the headlining spot was going to go towards, and yeah, it was some bullshit went down, and and then that happened.
Fuck's
So
sake.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Lethal Bizzle, he done well, didn't he?
Yeah,
From
he
all
did.
that rice pudding,
Bizzle.
All that Muller rice.
all that Muller rice, and
Toilet roll.
and all the bottles. He came out with a trolley of bottles, didn't he? And started throwing them back.
Yeah. Oh shit, we've been set up.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
that's a good way of
Yeah,
dealing with
yeah, you know, he
stuff
he
like that.
sort of took that energy, turned it around
Yeah.
back onto the crowd, and you know, started chanting with the mic, "Fuck you, Bizzle,"
Yeah.
and it was like, okay, well, you can't help but join in, but if you join in, you're sort of feeding the
Yeah.
whole thing.
That's definitely a good way to do it.
Elliot Miner handled it quite
Oh.
well. I mean, he got hit with a fucking frisbee.
Yeah, he did.
And they just carried on. I mean, they were
Yeah.
shit, but they carried on.
Good shot.
Back to the Dickie stuff. The Waterfront have cancelled their gig there. Whether that's related to what happened, I do not know if that is. But
Yeah, I mean,
with the timing, it probably is.
Yeah.
And then although they are playing 2 shows at the Underworld in London, not that long after.
yeah,
so,
I
yeah.
think if it's their own show,
Hmm.
you know, stuff like that can happen at a festival because you're exposed to a wider range.
Seems a bit
wide-
irrelevant to ban them over here for that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? For certain that's, you know.
especially their own show.
Yeah.
Like, you may consider pulling them off the festival.
That might not even be related at all. But
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
just the timing of it.
Yeah,
Alright,
it's a bit suspect. But
we
yeah.
can round this up then.
Yeah, cool.
With Sam from the Architects saying, "Fuck the Dickies, fuck anyone defending them. Sexist pigs can fuck off out the scene."
Well,
Yeah.
I almost always, I always do agree with Sam, but as I say, I'll agree with that with a little bit of an asterisk in the corner because I feel like
Yeah.
there are some other little bits and bobs.
I mean,
that, you know,
we
make up
don't.
the story.
This story's come from a 40-second clip,
Yeah.
so who knows what else has gone on there.
That's all about context, right?
Oh. The game
Yes,
The game.
game.
that you just lost. Wait.
Yeah.
So a lot of people hating you right now.
Now then.
So after
Sue
our,
me. No, what is it? Blow me.
after our demolishing of Alestorm, we
Well, you say demolishing, but yeah.
Yeah, it was fairly well demolished.
Yeah.
all right, yeah. So
10
the
out of
game.
10.
Yeah, look, we're doing it. You can
demolished
stop
again.
asking
Right.
for it
Who
now.
wants to explain the game to everyone?
What, the concept of the game
Yeah.
or what we're
Right,
doing?
the game is when we find or we ask other people to suggest to us a subgenre of rock or metal that we don't usually listen to and have a lack of knowledge of.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of different genres over the weeks and months. This week we've been suggested folk metal, which I was actually really looking forward to.
Why?
Because I like folk music.
I do.
I like traditional folk music.
Yeah.
I like. However, this, not for me. Again, just gimmicky. I think maybe if I saw it in a live setting and I was drunk, I probably would enjoy it. It's the same thing as Alestorm. I probably would if I was there in the moment for a bit of a laugh. But to actually follow it as a genuine passion, I can't really understand the appeal of it. Really, be a bit unfair to not shout out my friend's band, Addison's uncle from Norfolk, if you're listening from around here, and the Georgia Shackleton trio as well, who are good friends of ours. Really good, genuinely talented folk music. But anyway, back to metal and folk. I found a band called Trollfest.
Yeah.
So, and I only picked this really because, well, this is the laugh. Have a listen to it. This is a cover song. Let's see if you recognise it.
That was painful.
That actually hurt my teeth.
So,
Oh man.
like its name, Trollfest, I'm only picking it as a troll because I can't find any folk metal that I genuinely enjoy.
That was the cover of
Toxic by Britney
Oh,
Spears.
like you didn't know, Fisher.
That
That was bad.
I don't think I could have pulled my lips back any further over my teeth during that.
Mate,
Oh.
they formed in 2003.
Who cares?
Yeah, fucking whatever. Yeah. They formed 2003. That came out on an album in 2014 called A Decade of Decadence. And they're quite well known for their saxophones and accordions, but I presume most folk metal is as
They're
well.
well known.
They're well known for their saxophone and accordion. Sorry, I don't really put saxophone in folk metal. Usually.
No, the fact they're even known at all is fairly astounding.
Well, in Norway, so.
Say no more.
So,
Yeah, I mean,
2 out of 10 wouldn't listen again.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, no, I'll go with that.
Going
That
lower
was-
and lower. What you got, Fisher? I mean, like, what's your
Yeah,
opinion on
I've
it?
got what
What-
about this?
Yeah.
I quite like the little.
No, you didn't.
The operatic bit, instead of the synths. Not any of the vocals. I couldn't stand them.
You like the violin.
Yeah, the violin. That's it.
Like the violin tremolo that's just been shredded.
Yeah, that was quite cool. But
Apart from that.
won't really revisit it.
Cool. What's your pick for this then?
Yeah, Fisher, want to go next?
Yeah, go on then. My band are called Nordheim.
Yes.
Couldn't actually find very much about them online.
Oh, do you want to hear it?
Yeah, what's the track called? Get drunk or die trying. Ah, yeah, I've got a quick point. I've broken the rules this week, mainly to make a point about trying to sort of encompass everything they're about. This is really typical folk metal, I feel, but there's just this band are really fucking heavy in places, and I wanted to pick a track that sort of included all of those elements.
Right.
So I've gone 10 seconds over. Apologies.
Alright, here it is.
Oh, I take back everything I said.
Yeah.
That was really enjoyable.
I
just
like
wanted-
I'm in an Irish goth pub.
Yeah, I wanted to get the heaviness of it in the beginning and the ridiculousness of it also, because
Yeah.
it just covers the entire spectrum of what that band are all about in that clip. Yeah, just silly, fun, stupid, over the top. La 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 la. Like, what the fuck? What is that? But then,
I see what you're saying.
really fucking genuinely heavy shit as well, with the pinch harmonics and everything going on in there. Like, it shouldn't work, but kind of does.
It was interesting.
It was
I'll give it that.
New fan?
I wouldn't say
Yeah,
I
I
was a
don't
fan.
know if I'm a fan.
If I was at a nightclub, like a rock and alternative club, and that came
5
on,
beers deep.
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My issue is I don't have that much time to listen to music in general, so that window I do have in my life, I'm not really gonna go visit folk metal.
Yeah,
That's not the genre
If
you're
I
gonna go
could
to
sit
straight
around
away.
listening to metal all day every day, then I might give it a go. But
You might slip in there. Alright, Leask, do you want to go?
Yeah, okay. I went with a band called Blackguard. They are a Canadian band formed in 2001. I was actually fairly surprised by these. Actually, they're actually really quite heavy. I don't know if honestly it's been that long since I picked the clip. I can't remember whether it actually has that much of a folky element to it. I've actually listened to the whole album, and there are some really folky elements to it.
okay,
The track I picked is called Firefight.
Yep.
It was off of the album Firefight, which was released in 2011.
Alright, you're on a bit.
Go on then. It reminded me of Bottom.
That was actually really good. I
That's
like that.
really fucking bottom. I feel like that's the more serious side of folk metal. Like that's the more Scandinavian.
I mean, don't get me
Metal.
wrong, there's not a huge amount of diversity in what they do, but they're actually really heavy.
Yeah,
Um,
there are elements of bottom.
Yeah.
There, definitely.
Yeah, I like that bit.
they're actually worth a listen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they've got a new album due out at some point soon. It's called Storm. It's to be announced.
Okay. Yeah, that was good. I like that.
Yeah.
Excellent. I've actually had a good pick for a change.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
hell.
Yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah. Right, is it my go? Yeah, isn't it?
It is.
Um,
There's only 4 of us, and the other 3 have gone.
Yes, well done. Well, I'm not going to justify myself. Right?
Robin, it's your go.
It's my go. Alright, my band is called Tyr.
TYR, right?
Tyr, yes. Who is apparently the Norse god of law and justice.
Fuck, he sounds serious.
Neat.
Yeah. And this song is called Hold the Heathen Hammer High.
Fuck, try saying that when you're pissed.
Alright.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's who I found. They're apparently on Metal Blade records.
Well, that's a fucking awesome label to be on.
Yeah, that was from an album from 2009 called By the Light of the Northern Star.
Of course it was.
Of course it was.
Okay.
Yeah. Viking mythology, obviously. But yeah,
It just seems like when I went looking for any folk metal, it was all just a bit jovial and jokey. I didn't find any of this.
I think I
actual-
was quite lucky
It
with Blackguard, to be
genuinely-
honest.
it took me a long time to get to something a little bit more serious.
Yeah.
I wanted less accordion in my folk metal.
What, you can't have folk metal without
With less accordion. What are you
bitchin'
about?
fiddle solos.
Bitchin' fiddle solos.
That's almost as ridiculous as me wanting like faster Doom, because it just doesn't exist.
Yeah, bitchin' fiddle
Because it's not-
solos,
it's not-
Vikings, trolls. And
It's not
yeah.
Doom anymore if it's fast. It's not folk anymore if there's no accordion.
There's fiddles.
Fiddle metal.
Bitchin' fiddles.
Yeah,
Fiddling bitches.
Oh god.
shit.
Oh,
I
there is-
like that. That's catchy. Yeah.
yeah, did have to try hard on this one actually. There were
It
some
was
other
a
bands,
struggle, wasn't it?
It was difficult.
Like other more popular bands, Equilibrium.
Oh yeah.
Can you remember that band I can't say it properly. Diapocalyptic.
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
fuck.
Weren't they a German band?
We saw those in the
Yeah,
Yeah,
town.
they had a sex swing on stage.
That's why
you
you
refused to
disagree.
applaud them because you refused to applaud any band that had a gimp
I came across.
Was the sex swing being used?
by the gimp.
Yes.
Was someone getting fucked?
No, he was playing the keyboard.
I was like, where was this show?
I say he was playing the keyboard. When he wasn't playing the keyboard, he was just
He's
sat
been
on the
chased.
swing.
The singer was chasing with a whip.
Yeah,
A
he was-
massive whip.
Yeah,
Yeah, dubious about this one.
also struggled to find anything in English as well.
Oh, well, I mean,
Which
you've
is
got
not
bands like Teresa's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teresa's.
Yeah, I wasn't
Yeah.
going to pick them obviously because
Yeah.
it's one of the.
One of the well-known ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seen them. Saw them at Download.
They do a ridiculous cover of
Rasputin. Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the game. Thanks for.
Who suggested that?
I think it was Marcus.
Someone on the
Um,
YouTube.
yeah.
Yeah, on from YouTube. So yeah, if you want us to do any other genre that we haven't done already, check it all out on YouTube.
Yeah.
I think I put them all on there now. So
Yeah, we'll separately.
Yeah. Yeah. You just go listen to the games individually. Now.
yeah,
Awesome.
so
I highly recommend black metal.
Power metal was
Well,
a good one.
as a video, but not as a genre.
Oh yeah, yeah. I want
Just
to
to
make that
clarify.
clear now.
Yeah.
Go listen to the actual clip of us listening to black metal. Don't genuinely go and listen to black metal. If you value your time.
so yeah, suggestions please on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all them,
Insta.
Instagram.
We're
yeah,
on all
yeah,
the
yeah.
platforms.
All the cool kids now.
Yeah. Right then, on to All Killer
All
and
Killer.
No Filler.
All killer, no filler.
So last week.
last week I picked In the Eyes of Fire
Yes.
by Unearth, and you all went and listened to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I regularly listen to this album, so that's well in the burnt into my brain.
You haven't heard
Unearth.
it, have you? Dan?
Huh?
You haven't heard it.
No, I'd heard a couple of tracks off it. The one I had heard was Giles.
Yeah, I think that was the big one.
It's funny to go listen to this and praise it so much when the previous 2 weeks ago, you talked about Devil Driver. That album is all go the whole way through.
Mhm.
This album is exactly the same thing in terms of it's all guns blazing.
Yes.
But for some reason, I really, really enjoy this a whole lot more. I don't know what it is about it. The production on this thing is really trebly. Like, there's not a lot of bass on it. Like, I mean, it does hit, but I think because it's so trebly, everything is crisp and everything cuts through. So like, all the little guitar licks and nuances, like because of the lack of bottom end, it just cuts through and it's
Yeah.
just like, it's sort of like it just hits you.
It's a very crisp, clean
Yeah.
sound, isn't it?
But this was just like just kicking in the face constantly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think it was the fourth song, Sanctity of Brothers.
yeah.
The it made me laugh. Like, I don't know why. Like, it's such a, you know, when Lamb of God is so fast and riffy and all the drum fills are just going off at once. It's
Yeah.
like, it's so metal that it's funny, if that makes sense. Like, the ending of this song is just like, we're just gonna keep adding extra fills.
Yeah.
We're just gonna keep
Yeah.
adding this extra riff, and the way it ends just fucking kills me because it's just like, it's just so ridiculous.
It's mental.
yes.
Yeah, it's insane.
I would say as well, the drummer throughout it was one of the main things that I noticed. That he's kind of one of these drummers that just wants to just fill every little bit of space with just like constant attention to detail and like mental
He's
fills.
very,
Yeah,
very particular.
yeah,
Like, he's overly cautious about not wanting to sound like he doesn't know what he's doing.
yeah,
Like, he will retake and retake and retake.
yeah,
Like,
and it's
oh,
very tight, very
Yeah.
very tight. Yeah,
Like, he's constantly back and forth with the producer.
yeah,
Like, I'm worried, like, that sounds generic.
yeah,
Like, I'm worried that sounds like I don't know what I'm doing here.
sure,
He wants to be original. Like, he wants to be totally in his own entity, or in playing drums in his own right, I suppose.
Yeah.
He wants to just be completely original and completely perfect. He's very, like...
Well, that seems like the ethic of the whole band. because
Yeah,
it's very
yeah,
much like there's no like time wasted. But I think it's Imposter's Kingdom was in the song that I knew as well. But yeah, like this album, I really enjoyed. I mean, I wouldn't say I'll go back to it all that often because it's just like, by today's standards for me, it is a bit on the like generic metalcore side. But as far as like heavy metallic, like metalcore music goes, it's really impressive. There's a song perfectly that describes it, which is called "Unstoppable," which just sums up what I'm saying. That it is like the album is pretty unstoppable. Yeah. But as I was listening to this, I was thinking, there's been the same. My only gripe is there's been the same style of riffing, style of vocals, drumming and bass the whole way through, all well and good, but there's nothing else to it. Like, there's been no clean, like ballady, more melodic sort of songs on the album. And the next song, I think it was the next song, "So It Goes," came in, and it starts off with a like clean sort of electric guitar.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, like, I'm not sure that's just because I was so conscious of how heavy it was, but it was like the worst clean tone I've heard on a metal record in ages. Like, it sounds like he's such a metal guitarist. He's like, oh yeah, I've got a clean channel on the line 6, on the line 6 divided 2. I'll just whack on the clean channel and it just sounds like a wet fart. So, and then that song was probably the only downfall for me. It didn't really go. But yeah, overall, like, totally get why you picked it. It was really good. Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised, I have to admit. I can see.
You didn't hear it.
I can see exactly why I didn't like that band back when that was released. It was not the sort of thing I was into at all.
I think I said it sums up metalcore in 2006.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. I completely agree with what Danny said. I even now, I find it very generic. It was good. It was really heavy. I've listened to it a couple of times, and I'll probably go back and listen to it again. It's just, whenever I say that I'm not a fan of metalcore, that's what I hear. That sort of thing. It's just that's what I think of when I say metalcore.
Okay.
It's not a bad album by any means, though, at all. It's punishingly heavy. It's just, it's something I'll go back to at some point. Good choice, though. Good choice.
Yeah. If you, I think, maybe weren't a fan of that, maybe so generic album that sort of sounded like everything else at its time, I think maybe The March might be a bit more up your street.
Okay.
In the way that Pray for Villains might be a bit more up your street as well as Devil Driver.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give it a listen.
Both those follow-up albums, they tweaked slightly and maybe branched out.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I'll give it a listen.
Or toned, maybe toned down a little bit.
I mean, there was a time where I would have point blank gone, no, I'm not listening to anymore. But that I liked enough that I will go, alright, I'll see what else they got to offer.
I forgot that you, like, around that time, that you were quite turned off by that style of metal music. I forget about that. What did you think of Giles? Did you enjoy that song?
I did. I mean, it's not that I didn't enjoy the album. I don't know, there's just some I was like, it's good, but alright.
That ending for that song, the Rectify My Name, that like breakdown for me, still, it's so basic, it's so obvious of like that era, but when I hear it, I can't help but feel like I'm at the park in Peterborough with just arms swinging around everywhere. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just, but it's still kind of endearing.
Yeah,
just
that,
being like,
that whole vibe.
I think the opening track, this Glorious Nightmare, is fucking incredible as well. And then there's an outro. It's going to remind me. I think it's the Bled Dry, where it just goes from drums to guitar, like really quick, like.
Oh, I can't
like there's a fill, like it's literally like fill chug, like back and forth for like 10 times, and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, it's like a game of tennis between the two.
What, the instrumental?
No, that's Big Bear in the Arrow House. I think it's the track before it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and there's another one of those outros that's just fucking insane, and you're like, wow, like really intricate, really original, really cool, really fucking, like you say, punishingly heavy.
Should we rate it? This is what we're doing now?
Sure.
We'll rate the... So what would you rate your All Killer? I guess it's got to be a 10 then.
Oh, yeah, it'd be a 10 album, yeah.
Cool.
For me it's a 10. It would have been one of my All Killers eventually.
Yeah.
Like, I love it.
I'll give it an 8.
7.
Yeah, fair.
Okay.
Alright then.
Pretty good.
So,
There you go, that's my gift to you.
Oh, you're a very generous man.
Leask.
Yeah. Right.
What you got for us?
Yeah, give us your
To the
All Killer,
best
please.
of my knowledge, the only person here that hasn't heard it is Rob Smith.
No,
Okay.
I
Right.
can't believe that.
Well, Fish's only recently listened to it.
Okay.
I am going with Crack the Sky by Mastodon.
Okay, no.
It is
I think you're a Mastodon fan, though, right? You sort of are now a little bit.
I'm
Yeah.
like Rob. I think we're a bit
I
both on the fence.
I like the odd song. I can tell you what.
I'm exactly the same as you, Rob.
If you like
Yeah.
their heavier stuff, you probably won't be a massive fan of this album, but it is an absolute fucking masterpiece. Without a doubt. Like, this is where they started to go a lot more prog. It's a concept album about a paraplegic boy who he has astral projection, and his astral body ends up flying into space. He flies too close to the sun, so the cord that attaches him to his body is severed. He flies into a wormhole. Right, where bear with me, where
Do I need drugs for this?
no,
It's like
but
your Devon Townsend.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Caffeine alien type shit.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
his spirit is then latched onto by a group of Russian cultists from the period, like the Tsarist period, and because they find out that this boy's soul has gone adrift, they end up putting his soul in the body of Rasputin just before he gets assassinated. Right, now I have some notes here.
Okay.
Fuck me.
Right. Story time, kids. I mean, every track on this album obviously tells a different part of the story, and the music fits what is happening. It opens with Oblivion, which is quite a restrained song. It is a lot more prog than metal, but it has an absolutely fucking ridiculous solo in it.
Yep.
Which amazed me really, that they were able to still come out with something like that in such a restrained song. I mean, this album was released in 2009. It was the first one they released after Brent Hines was hospitalised by the bassist from System of a Down.
I don't know about this. What happened?
From what I remember, Brent was a drunk mess and they played an award ceremony. He had his t-shirt off, was swinging it around his head, smacked the bassist from System in the face with his sweaty t-shirt, and then punched his mate in the chest, and he just got the shit beaten out of him.
Fucking hell.
And then they came back with this, which is a very restrained album for something that you would expect after an incident like that. But yeah, anyway, slight digression there. After Oblivion, that is where he gets sucked into the wormhole. You've then got Divinations, which is, I think it's more of an accessible Mastodon
Fucking catchy
track.
tune.
It is really catchy. There's bits in every song that stick with me. Like, you need to listen to it a few times to just pick bits out, because if you just sit and listen to it once, I don't think you're going to get the full effect of this album at all. Then goes on to Quintessence, which it's a fairly upbeat song, but it's got some really dark lyrics. And that is where his soul is first put into Rasputin's body, and Rasputin is like basically getting premonitions of the fact he's going to be murdered. The last minute or so of this track is a lot heavier than the rest of it. Again, it is fucking incredible. Then goes on to a song called The Tsar, which is roughly 10 minutes long, and I would argue, even now, is the best song that Mastodon have ever written.
Jeez.
I mean, this album is 8 years old now, and they have not topped it since. It's in 4 parts, and it is about the assassination attempt on Rasputin. You've got Usurper, which is about him wanting to overthrow the Tsar. You've then got Escape, which is much faster and much heavier. It's got one of the heaviest passages on the album in there, and that is about him trying to escape his attackers. You've got Martyr, where I basically realises he's dying for his cause, and then you have got Spiral, which basically just repeats what's going on in Usurper, but it's a lot more spaced out. It's supposed to be like when he's dying essentially. That is the song that actually has the lyric "Crack the Sky" in it.
I thought Crack the Sky had that lyric in.
It does as well.
Ah.
Because the album partly was written about Skye. It's about Skye, who was the drummer's sister who took her own life when
Right.
I think he was 14. So when it gets onto the track "Crack the Sky," it's got a duality to what
Right.
the lyrics are telling. They're still telling this story, but they're
Loosely
also
related to that.
yeah. But then anyway, after the Tsar, you have got Ghost of Karelia, which is about them essentially meeting the devil, and being chased through shadows essentially before being sent to hell. It gets increasingly heavier as it goes on. It is probably the heaviest track on the album, I would say. You then have Crack the Sky, which has got Scott Kelly of Neurosis on there. He's doing the more aggressive vocals. I can't even describe that song. It is a song you need to listen to because the intricacy in every single one of these songs is mad. Like the 4 parts on the Tsar are so different, but they're just seamless when they come together. The last track on the album, The Last Baron, very close second for the best track that Mastodon have ever written.
Shit.
That's like 12 minutes long. It's fucking epic.
Yeah.
And it's basically about this boy finding his body again, but you don't actually find out whether he wakes up or not. It's just left. It's an incredible concept album. It's an incredible album, and genuinely I think Mastodon should be proud to have that in their back catalogue, and it is without a doubt a bar that other prog metal bands can only strive to reach, because it's phenomenal.
Would you say that? Because I actually know this album better than the rest of them, because I'm like Josh Brown got me into them years ago when we were like in a band together. So cheers for that, Josh. And I'm not sure it's because I associate that with those times, but it seems like that is the most highly regarded record they've put out.
Yeah,
Would you say that's the case?
I would say so. I mean,
yeah.
Blood Mountain at one point was voted Metal Album of the Year by Metal Hammer, I believe.
2007.
Crack the Sky got it.
Okay, Crack the Sky got it. I didn't realise.
Their last album has also been voted Best Album of the Year so far by Metal Hammer. Was it Metal Hammer?
Yeah, they did a half-year vote.
Yeah,
and that's come in.
They're a consistently solid band. If you're looking for some of the heaviest stuff from Mastodon, I would try The Hunter, which is the album after. It's not a concept album, it's just an album they put together. It's still really good.
That's a fucking good album.
It's just it is much heavier.
It sounds like quite the journey.
Oh, it is.
Is this like a good set of headphones,
Yeah,
not doing a lot else?
pretty much. I mean,
Just get some edibles. Find a comfortable chair.
I mean, after you've
Get some
listened to it
headphones.
a few times, if
Get
you enjoy it,
comfy.
you can have it as background music. But I know this album so well, I can just have it as background music. It's probably one of the more accessible albums they've written. But
I think it's enjoyable in both settings, really. Like it's definitely if the way it's been picked up, I think it only deserves to be heard properly for a first listen. Yeah, you probably recognise the odd bits from it as well.
probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't necessarily see you coming back, Rob Smith, to be honest, and saying, yeah, it was fucking awesome. But I think you'll be
Never know.
pleasantly surprised by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that hasn't heard it.
Yeah.
I only heard it last night
Oh, okay.
because I knew it was going to be a sort of killer.
Yeah.
What was your initial reaction?
Hard to digest.
Right.
It depends how you want to listen to it. I think if you want to sit and just listen to it for what it is, you can probably digest it a little bit easier. If you want to sit and read through the lyrics,
When you really get
it's pretty deep. It's a very emotional album. Yeah, you need to listen to it a couple of times to pick certain bits out. There are some really catchy stuff in there. The solos in it are incredible. The escape part of the Tsar is much faster. It's quite rocky, really.
Yeah.
Like that riff that it kicks into at the beginning, it's just like you can't help but nod your head to it. Just
before I listen to it.
Yeah,
Cool, man.
Pinnacle of their career.
I'm really looking forward
I'm
to
gonna
getting
give it.
back to
I'm gonna give it another go, and I'm gonna make sure I do it through proper headphones. It was on my Bluetooth speaker. I wasn't doing too much else while it was on. Just sort of.
it's very atmospheric. Like especially some of the bits that are supposed to be slower. They've got like a lot of keyboards and like a little bit of distortion on the vocals. Like it just adds to the atmosphere of the album. Really, just can't praise it enough.
Wicked.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to that actually. That'd be good.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a bit like you, Rob, with Mastodon. I feel like I know a couple of songs here and there. Like,
I wouldn't be able to tell you what this song is from.
more like the less proggy. I suppose less proggy.
I say
Colony of Birchman.
if you enjoy it but want something heavier, go with something like Blood Mountain, which was a much heavier album, or listen to tracks like The March of the Fire Ants, because that's fucking heavy, that song.
Yeah.
Leviathan is a fairly heavy album as well. I think this is where they really started to go down that prog route, and it's just done fucking wonders for them.
They're really flexing their prog muscles there.
Yeah. Whilst we're on the topic of Mastodon, before we end off, do want to mention I was listening to the recent That's Not Metal episode, and they were they did a thing on 10 underground albums that have come out this year so far that they haven't covered. And one of the ones they were really helping out was a band called Hyborium. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they compared them to Mastodon quite a bit. And I went and listened to it, and it's definitely along the lines of like around the Leviathan area where it's heavier, and like definitely go check that out.
Okay.
It's just called Hyborian with an N, Volume 1. And it's not very well known. I think it's only got like 3,000 or 4,000 listeners on Spotify.
Oh, wow.
Really fucking good.
I'll give it a listen then.
And also, whilst I'm mentioning them, if you enjoyed our episode 2 weeks ago when we talked about Glastonbury, go listen to their one as well, because they did an interview with the guy that ran the Year 8 stage, and they go over all of the nuances of how it all came together and what a gamble it was to the people at the festival, and like he also interviews the bands that played on that stage as well and their predictions of the future. So it's a real good insight to what we were talking about last week.
Okay.
So it's a nice little supplement to
Yeah.
to what we were talking about. So yeah,
Okay.
little plug for those guys. Not that they need it, but you know.
Cool. Cool. Is that it?
I think that's it.
Good.
Awesome.
Are we in 2 hours?
Oh yeah.
Pretty much.
All right. Well, if you're still with us, thanks a lot for listening.
Yep. Have a look at our YouTube channel. We've got all our older stuff on there. Subscribe to that. We're on Twitter, Instagram, which we'll keep updating and stuff.
Yes.
Facebook.
Facebook, yeah, which we'll do a bit more on.
Once there's enough of you, we'll try and get some back and forth. Give us some suggestions and questions and bits like that. Because we need some more topics to discuss.
Just no more folk metal.
Yeah, suggestions for the game as well, please. That'd be great.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Hope you guys
Thank you
did
very
too.
much, guys.
Thank you.